I'd like to show you something.
The pace when I'm running, I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm
You have to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky?
Woo! Good evening. Episode 125 of Toxic Tuesday. But tonight we're going to dare call it the untoxic edition. How are you all doing? We have a huge crowd in here right away, as we rightfully should, for 3 straight weeks of 40-year movies. And I swear that was absolutely 110% unintentional. That was seriously not bullshit. It happened. It happened. But how are you all doing? Thank you to Tom, of course, who was on Midnight's Edge After Dark. The Mead Raid, huge Mead Raid. Thank you, Tom. I do appreciate that. Tom's going to be part of the show, of course, as well. Man, all right, I'm going to try to blaze through these faces, and then we're going to blaze through our dudes who are in here. We even have a backdoor Gerry in here tonight. And he even went through the front door, which is really awkward. Dave C., Davina Duckworth, Vulcan, Liz, Vince Womack. Hey, Sean Steckhouse, Amelia Clark, RJ Godzilla, Darth Viewer, Putin Scat, Mr. Zen in 1994, Josh Pose, Penny, Mecha J, Eternal Vigilance, Shadow Chaser, Animal Confuser, Doba Fett. I love that name, Doba Fett. Phoenix 908, Night Raven, 1942. Yes, of course. Yes. Beetle says Helicopter Tours. I miss you. And anyone else I apologize. I'm blazing through names here. We're going to let in our dudes here. I'm going to let in this guy first because, well, we were just on a show together and he transitioned from one show to another. And I'm really proud of him and his transition. This feels like one that was actually very successful. And that's not, the truth. It's his truth. How are you, Tom? He went somewhere. He'll be back.
I appreciate it if you call me Tamika. Okay, this is my truth. And I'm so glad that Toxic Tuesday is now untoxic, so I can be here. Whammons are possible in this world.
Well, did you hear we're talking about the 2016 edition tonight?
Oh, goody. My favorite. Whammon power. I have answered the call.
I figured you'd be excited for this one. This was like the one you've been told me that every day has built to this moment in your life with the 2016.
Every day. I identify as a female vampire, just so everybody knows.
You are. It was that line when Arnold sees the prize like you.
I have
one
gone
ugly
through the
motherfucker.
Gozer. I thought Gozer was a man. It's whatever it wants.
Whatever it wants to be, honey. That's right. Bye before bye, Zula.
Oh man,
just wait till I'm to the wind.
It's gonna be a good night. Thanks for being here.
I'm back here. This is a classic. Oh wait, are we really talking about the Ghostbusters?
Oh. Okay. I didn't watch it in preparation, just so you know.
Hi,
You didn't
Mark.
tell me what year the movie was. Come on.
You didn't, Mark. Mark.
No, I didn't.
No,
do that.
actually, you're right. I got to blame Nick on this because you're right. You have said specifically in the past he has to say the year, and it probably helped if you put a star so he knows what you're talking about because he's not like all into these movies and stuff.
Yeah, I have a limited memory these days. Don't worry, everyone. Don't leave. We're not doing the 2016 movie, but I had to.
It was worth the laugh.
It was worth the laugh.
It was worth the laugh.
And I made. I 3D printed this today.
Mm-hmm.
Check that out.
Oh, cool.
3D. It's 3D. 3D.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's badass. So seriously,
I hang that on my wall. Yeah,
nice.
That is nice.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
it's cool stuff. Yep. And I was printing a dog here. He's printing now, but sometimes prints fail.
Ooh.
So
he's got some back issues.
I got to put Rick Moranis in there.
Put the Moranis in there. It all makes sense now. Yeah.
Yep.
No, Mark, glad to have you here, sir. Like Tom, let's have some fun tonight for our Untoxic edition. Still gonna be huge.
Oh,
I gotta ask, why is it untoxic? I don't get it.
Because Ghostbusters really isn't a toxic movie.
Oh, then you haven't been keeping up with the modern day. Bill Murray's character is a rapist and all that stuff in this movie. We'll get.
Oh, I know about the.
So it's toxic
situation. Well, then I want to hear I will look forward to hearing your perspective on.
According to the modern audience, it is.
According to the
we have
modern
a red shirt
audience.
here, and he's not going to last long because he's a red shirt.
I'm in engineering, not security.
Oh, how's it going, red shirt?
It's going great. Hi guys. I enjoyed watching this movie again. Even after all,
you enjoyed watching it again, right?
Again and again. Yeah, I mean, after all these years, I was still getting the thrill when they were getting ready to go into the building off Central Park West, and they come down, and then the pavement erupts. I'm getting ahead of myself, but this movie still grabs me, even though I've seen it probably a half a dozen times before yesterday and today. This movie was lightning in a bottle, so I'm looking forward to this.
Oh yeah. All right, let's bring in our other dude here. We'll bring in that 70s rock fan.
Good evening. Can we get Tomika back? I like Tomika better. I want Tomika to come back. She really classed this show up.
Really classic.
She certainly diversified it, so can we get Tomika back? No, it's too late. She's gone. Never mind. We'll settle for Tom, I guess.
I'm getting drunk.
There we go. That's better.
She detransitions, because there's that slow rise of detransitioners. She's part of the detransitioners. Going back to Tom,
I believe she has been the part of a study on the effect of negative reinforcement on ESP ability.
I'll tell you what the effect is. It's fucking pissing me off. That's what the effect is.
That's a good one, though. I like that.
Glad to have you here, 70s.
Yeah,
you can keep your $5.
Yeah.
I've had it.
And then we got Keto Simple, who's also a state puff tonight. Sir, how are you?
I'm here to cross streams until you get slimed all over your face.
Well, we got enough dudes here to have a very good crossing.
Slime me. That sounds like my dates.
That's the toxic part, the slime.
I figure the slime must be pretty toxic in this movie.
It is. There's a lot of toxic stuff in it.
I'm feeling pretty slimy tonight. I agree. I wish I could have gotten some Hi-C Ecto Cooler for it, but I couldn't find it. So what's going to happen today?
Did you notice in that image that Mark showed of that Ghostbusters movie that we don't like? There's 5 women in the poster for that.
5? Oh, the Frozen Empire?
All 5 of them in that poster are women. And
Or
girls.
the 2016?
Yeah, look, there's 5 girls in that poster.
Oh, I guess just because of Hemsworth.
I was actually
More.
excited. Like when they announced that, I was hoping it would be funny, but it just, yeah. They
Can we
just
kick
totally
him
dropped
for the
the ball.
fact that he just said that he was excited when they announced this? That
Yeah,
alone.
when they announced
I don't
it.
care.
when-
I was like, okay. I was like, they're making a new Ghostbusters. You know, I like some of the actresses. I was like, hopefully it'll be funny. I learned my lesson. Okay.
I have one friend who
Did
likes
you?
it, and I'm still friends with him.
Sometimes we forgive people on these shows. We do. We have a good forgiving policy here, and we still accept Dustin
I never
as he
watched
is.
it, but I was excited
I
when they
couldn't
announced
finish it. You know,
That's what she
I
said.
couldn't finish it. Well, speaking of men who have finishing issues, it's like he just knew. He wasn't
Gerry's
even
drunk.
looking, and he knew when I said.
Gary's drunk.
Hey, Tamika's pretty hot. I want to ask her out.
I think those
Well,
are your
here,
glasses.
I'll put you two right next to each other. We'll make it awkward and special.
Oh, and my girlfriend's in the chat right now, Anima. Go to bed. It's past your bedtime.
What time is it even where she's at?
Time to
She's
get
in
up now.
Austria where it's like 2
Well, she's
o'clock in the
getting up.
morning right now.
This
More like
show's gonna be
she's
4 or
fucked
5.
tonight.
Just here, Gary, to check there's no breaches. So she's here for that.
I'm wearing my breeches. What are you talking
Breeches.
about? What?
Breeches.
Yeah, this show's gonna be absolutely fucked tonight. I could.
Mhm.
I was gonna say I could feel it, but then that sounds very gay of me to say.
I hate to break your heart, Gary, but you're not my type. I like mine with a dick.
Everything was fine with our system until the power grid was shut off by Dickless here.
Is this true?
Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
This man is no dick.
Never can stop.
Mm.
Well, that's what I heard.
Chippendale star attraction, Mr. Nicholas, better known as Nick the Dick.
Oh, speaking of a dude, I'll be crossing the streams with in Houston in a few hours. Yeah, looking forward to it, man. Be taking off tomorrow, 7 a.m.
Nice.
Hell yeah, yeah. Leave. I gotta get up at 3 a.m. or 2:30 a.m. tonight. So that is
Holy
in
shit.
6 hours.
Well, if we did a 6-hour
stay up.
show, you just stay up. Yeah. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy. Sure, we could do it.
I know we have a Dallas layover at Love Field, and then after that, they had this new Whataburger, jalapeno cheddar biscuit sandwich. I gotta have. Oh yeah, we're talking about Ghostbusters.
You
Anyway,
gotta do a video on that then, though. If you're gonna have that, you gotta do a video on it on your phone.
Oh, of course. Oh, great timing, Mark. Totally not intentional. Totally not intentional. Of course you did.
That's of course my stream background until my better half walks in the room.
Mark.
My stream
was,
background is a zipper.
I don't want to know what's on the rest of your screen.
That's some sturdy pair of legs there. I mean, on the right, not on the left.
So is that your way of doing the Dumb and Dumber thing? He must work out. Oh man, I don't know how many things I could say about childhood memories, teenage memories, and adult memories about the 1984 Ghostbusters. 70s. Do you have the green case that has the 2 movies with the little booklet? Is that what that is?
I have got so many copies of these 2 movies, but this is a sealed DVD.
Oh, you
copy,
got the sealed. Oh, see, we unsealed ours.
which I got in a charity store the other day for $2.
Oh,
It's sealed.
dude.
So I have other
I'm gonna zoom
versions.
in on you. We have Stella and I have that case. We have that one, and we opened it up, and dude, the book, because we got it at Half Price Books, and
Yeah.
whoever owned it previously must have never taken the book out of there, but I would strongly recommend to take the book out of there because the book has like cool art drawings. It's got little stats and statistics. Oh, dude, it's so
I'm going to
cool.
open it. I am going to open it because it's just a DVD. It's not like it's Blu-ray or anything. But I saw it on the shelf.
Really cool.
$2. I thought, oh,
it's also one of the DVD editions. Oh, hey, oh, she's already got it. Oh, yeah. See, so we could both show off our greens.
We could.
Yeah, here, get your green back out. Yeah, look at that shine. See,
but I couldn't believe it was still sealed. You know, like
all right, I got right here. See, I'll see it. Look at that. Look at that.
Nice.
Look at that. And before I show off on mine, B Marte for 20. Woo! Says for Whataburger, dude. You are a monster of a man. Thank you for the $20, sir. Holy
huge!
Crap. That is how you get a show started for the 20. Holy macaroni. Thank you, sir. All right. So yeah, this is for the DVD edition that is.
So that's what's in the one I've just got there?
Yes, this one. Dude, this is really cool. This movie scrapbook. And it's got like a bunch of cool like comic drawings as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. This is also the one that has a lot of the deleted scenes, like the one where Bill Murray acts like he's in Caddyshack as well. I'm sure Tom knows exactly what I'm talking about because he probably has this and 9 other editions. But dude, look at this. Well, look at all his drawings right there. Yeah. Yeah. Then you got the stats on the guys too.
I'm definitely going to unwrap it. I just I left it for now. But...
Oh yeah. Look at this. Our marshmallows always stay puffed. Malt them, roast them, toast them. Stay puft marshmallows taste great. No matter how you eat them, add them to brownie recipes. Bake them in casseroles. Stack them in s'mores. Or just eat them plain straight out of the bag. Only 15 cents
per bag.
Wow. 15 cents. Yeah. This thing is cool. This thing is cool. So yeah, that's one of our edition. I'm sure Tom's got, since we're doing show and tell, we got screen. Tom, do you got any additions you want to show up? That's it. All right, we're zooming in on you.
Yeah, I have that one that you showed somewhere. This is actually the first DVD edition.
Okay, I remember that one. I do remember that one.
And I only keep this one because it has the actual audio commentary with the guys down at the bottom of the screen. And then, of course, you have one of the earlier Blu-rays. This is the second Blu-ray release, actually.
I got that.
First time they were remastered in 4K, but it was the second time they released them on Blu-ray. And then here was one of the earlier 4K releases in the Steelbook.
Oh, good old Steelbook. Yeah.
So this actually had a few new special features on it. But then, of course, after Ghostbusters Afterlife came out,
that's a beauty. Yeah.
Don't turn the power off in your house.
With brand new special features and stuff, and I believe another version of that book, which I have the full-on art of a Ghostbusters book. But cool thing is, of course, if I can get it to work.
Oh God, that's so good.
Sweetness.
Dude, that's nice.
It's addition by subtraction. It doesn't contain the movie that we're not going to talk about.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, it does not have the stupid Ghostbusters. And actually, you can do it like this.
All 4K or?
Yeah, they're all 4K. Yep.
And
it has extra bonus discs. And it actually has a bunch of deleted scenes. In fact, it has one of the outtakes that I sent you guys last week to share this week if you wanted to.
Yeah. How is the 4K on the?
Look at the ugly sweater. Look at
really
that
good.
Ugly sweater.
That's great,
dude. Yeah,
nice.
Dude. Yeah. So I was like, "You watched out the sweater that shows?" I'm like, "Yeah." Well, so I'm like, "This is badass." So
that's cool.
It's freaking awesome.
Sweater. And I got something later too. I mean, I got a lot of Ghostbuster stuff, but I got
dude,
really good later. But it actually comes at a specific point in the film that I want to show. So.
Okay, cool. No, yeah, we're hoping because we were hoping to see it out in Houston, but with the way the show goes and a lot of the band and the few times that they have going on in Houston, the timing does not line up. So we're probably gonna see it when we come back Sunday. So Sunday looks to be the day. So
we'll be talking about it Thursday night for sure.
I'm sure. Yeah, I know you'll be able. That's I was hoping maybe pop in for like 5 minutes, but just we're not gonna have time to see it Thursday. So
and I don't think it'll even delay the show because I'm pretty sure my showing is at like 2:00 in the afternoon. So.
Oh yeah, no. By all means, you're the master. Oh, all right. She brought me her sweet shoe.
Oh,
dude. Yeah. See, now it's just a straight up show and tell session of all the greatness. I love it's a badass shoe. I lock it. Ooh. Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. Very
Yeah,
nice.
Vince, I had to wear that sweater for watching Frozen Empire. You know, it would be nice. I not obviously this all goes thanks to Tom, but we have 100 plus in here. Thank you guys.
Sweetness.
Hell yeah. Cheers and beers.
Well, since we're showing stuff, here's my Lego set.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
That's the older Lego set that was. Now there's a
That's
new
the,
set out that's even bigger. It's like a huge version of the
embiggened
extra
it?
one. They embiggened it. Yep.
Embiggen.
And there's my Playmobil Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah,
So I gotta get the car. I gotta get the car, and that kid comes with.
It's a pain in the ass spot on my shelf, and I should take a photo, but I have a lot of the WWF wrestlers where they're dressed up as Ghostbusters characters, and I have one of the Undertaker, and he's all purple. It's absolutely badass, and it's a cool collection. It's a really killer collection. I'm really, really proud of them all. They're all cool because I know it's Stone Cold. There's The Rock. I think it's Shawn Michaels. I think John Cena for the under. Oh, hey, she brought me the Undertaker with the green belt. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got that popcorn bucket too. Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's a nice popcorn bucket. Oh, that's good. That's nice. I like it. I like it a lot, Mark. You bring in the big.
So that
big
lives in the
boys.
living room. My wife was like, "Do you really need that?" Like,
Hey,
yes,
you got a
I
Barbie
do.
Funko Pop,
Always,
Barbie?
Define need. Define need.
Hold up. We're not going to call out the fact that he has a Barbie Funko Pop right there.
Oh,
That was I finally noticed that. That was a
What?
joke gift from my my son's girlfriend. He gave me that as a
Yeah,
joke
that's
on
great. But
Christmas.
why is it amongst such lovely treasures?
Because she said she'd sub to my channel and get me some watch hours.
Oh,
if I showed her.
okay.
Yeah,
All right.
that's just a joke back there. You're not gonna can't boot me. I'm doing the slideshow, so
That's it. It's all doomed after that.
oh come on, Barbie's cute. Come on.
My
Who would take-
Undertaker
who
with
would
the
take
green
Barbie out
belt.
of their house?
Yeah, really, really happy with the dead man.
Well, that's wild.
Yeah, dude. No, he was like because he had all the heroes obviously as a Ghostbuster, but yeah, and then of course, I think there was even a TMNT edition. Was there a TMNT Ghostbuster edition, Tom? That I know of. There's been all sorts of variations of the Ghostbusters for the toys. I know apparently the upcoming Frozen Empire movie is supposed to be influenced by the cartoon as well. Just
Well,
saying.
and you know, almost to its detriment, because it's always bugged me. Keith and I've talked about this in the past that Dan Aykroyd is the one person who keeps pushing the animated series into the films. That's why Ghostbusters 2 was sort of weird because he was trying to bring in elements from the cartoon series, including the relationship between Janine and I just forgot Harold Ramis's character. Because it was originally going to be Egon.
Egon Spengler. Yeah.
Yeah, it was going to be Egon and her, and then because of the cartoon, he switched it.
Yeah. No, I think that threw off a lot of people. Also, here's the thing too. Like I know Red Shirt said, I'm sure this is something that we've all said, that the first movie was absolutely lightning in a bottle. No matter how good you follow it up, it was one of those things. It was the right movie, the right place, the right time, situations. Following up it was a tall order and an almost insurmountable, impossible task. It's just, I still actually, here's the thing. I'm one of the defenders of the sequel. I think it's a good, solid sequel. I think it's a great movie. I've rewatched it a few times. Obviously, I haven't watched it 8 gazillion times like the first one, but I'm sure I got a good solid 100 in my belt for it. I'm sure I've watched 100 times. I could definitely say that with confidence.
Yeah, I like the second movie. I think the only thing the second movie really suffers from is the first movie because it followed it.
Yeah, that's the second one came out on its own, people would be so much more over the moon about it.
Well,
That
there's
is
some issues, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Like as far as like compared to a lot of other things, it's not nearly as bad as some sequels. No,
Ooh, this is an interesting comment here. I want to highlight
I
this before I highlight the member thing. Mr. Zen in 94 says he prefers the sequel to the original, probably because he saw it first. And sometimes that's just how it be, man. That's how it be. Vulcan lives, gifting 5 memberships, and not just any memberships.
Huge
Memberships. Thank you, Vulcan. You are the man, sir. Appreciate it. Go ahead, Tom. You were saying?
well, I just as a kid when I saw it in theaters because I saw it opening weekend, as a 9-year-old, and it was, I loved it. I didn't see. To me, it was just as good as the first movie, and I was a fan of the series, so I didn't mind them leaning a little bit more into that element at that time. But stepping back as an adult now, I can see why my older cousins didn't like it. Like I didn't think they flat out hate it, but they're just like, it's just a rip off of the first movie. And at that time, I didn't see it, but now stepping back and looking at it, it's like, yeah, why are they out of business? That makes no sense. You just have them out of business so you can have the going back into business bit again. The whole thing at the end with the Statue of Liberty. That is unnecessary as fuck. Why do you have it? So you have something that's big walking down, the streets of New York again, like the first movie. There's so many of those little things that are just like that you have because obligatory sequels at the time had to have.
Yeah.
But it's really like it should have went
familiar beats.
Wait a minute.
Beats, yeah.
Wait a minute. Tom, you have a point about the Statue of Liberty echoing the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, but they needed something to bring New Yorkers together. And I mean, I visited New York quite a few times.
Fair point, yeah.
And New Yorkers are not the friendliest of people. They're kind of like the goblins in Harry Potter. If you spend a lot of time in New York. So what symbol would bring New Yorkers together and get a positive vibe out of a massive number of New Yorkers? And I think that was the message. I think that was the message of bringing the Statue of Liberty in. Is that was the one thing that
unity.
could get New Yorkers behind it.
Yeah, unity. By the way, I want to point out the real cute blonde chick that he's hitting on here.
Charles in charge.
Yeah, we'll show it again. We'll try. I just want to highlight this from Gonzalo Bergali. Thank you, Gonzalo, because I remember this set. I think I had only the Donatello when I was a kid.
I never even saw these before. Wow.
I remember these, and there's also this one too. My guesses came in with the 2012 edition. I do like this right here. So obviously you could tell Raphael's Winston. You can tell that Michelangelo is Venkman. I'm guessing Leonardo is.
Actually, I'm gonna say. Well, yeah, no, I guess you're right because I was telling. I couldn't see. I thought I got him flipped. You're right.
Oh, Donatello Spangler. Of course he is. The glasses, the bushy top hair. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That is most definitely it. And then of course Raymond Stantz is Leonardo. Yeah, I think that's had to have been for the 2012 because they did the 2012 cartoon did a lot of the mix and match ones because I know they also did with WWF because I have my Donatello Undertaker right over here on the table. And of course, I have a Michelangelo Roddy Piper. We have a one with the Macho Man as well. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Anyways, we'll continue. Sorry guys, we want to show a movie, but we also love the showing and telling of this movies because it's just one of those movies where you could do a show off of both of them. So we're crossing the streams with the showing and the telling and the movie itself.
And I got a couple.
And there are 3 streams right there.
There's a couple of wavy lines.
Sorry, this isn't your lucky day.
I agree, Night Raven. I strongly agree with that sentiment. It is the only, I don't like with the Rise and the Mutant Mayhem that all. We can get into that, but yes, I agree. It's a couple of wavy lines. Oh, this.
I'm getting a little tired of this.
You volunteered, didn't you? We're paying you, aren't we?
Yeah, but I didn't know you were going to be giving me electric shocks.
Well, he should have known if he had ESP.
Anyway, what I was going to say is that young lady right there would go on to play Cindy Brady when the
Indeed.
original actress refused to come back for the Christmas Brady movie.
That's for sure. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, bad.
Jennifer Runyon.
Runyon. Oh, yes.
Rhymes with onion. Something that Brian likes to eat.
I like to peel them.
Now, would you put those streams in your butt?
Well, Gerry might.
I'm saving it for later. Don't make me do it early. You never
Well, that's the whole point.
The money shot needs to be saved for later.
We're not here to butter you up. It's about going in rough for you. What?
I'll tell you what the effect is. It's pissing me off.
Well, then maybe my theory is correct.
You can keep the $5. I've had it.
I will, mister.
And right away,
I love the whole connection to Milgrams. Oh, turn it over.
Oh, no, don't turn it over. We have to guess. We have to guess.
What is it?
It's a star. It's a star.
I got it. I win. I got it with the 3 wavy lines. Cube.
It's a large
rectangle. Rectangle.
It's a star.
It's Gary's butthole. I was right.
It's a star. Eventually, I'm going to get a star.
Yay!
Oh,
you got it. It's the mono
Square.
It's a pyramid.
It's Brian.
It's a sperm.
This is the one we actually don't get to see in the movie.
It's a sheep.
So nobody's going to get this one. It's a plus.
Oh.
This one is in the movie. As just said, it's a square. Yes.
Square.
There you go. Yeah, I want to thank Gary Ambrosia for sending me these. These are amazing.
Those are sweet.
That is freaking
Where did he
awesome.
get those, or did he make those?
Gary.
He made them. He does that. Yeah, he's a prop maker.
Did he send the electric shock equipment too?
I'm not allowed to say.
Do you think I have it, Dr. Venkman?
You're no fluke, Jennifer.
She's about to have it.
She's got it. Come on.
The thing is, the people that are complaining about that's how academia actually works. Everyone
Pretty
knows
much.
Lots of professors like that with their.
You mean we have to get stuff done?
No, but professor, yeah, it's a bit of a trope, and it's true.
Yeah, but see, all of a sudden he gets interrupted by Ray because he needs things, and that's when they realize that's the pretty much the end of this space.
Right in
and
the
they
middle
get-
of something, Ray. Did you come back and say an hour and a half?
I'm
Back
glad
about 8 o'clock.
Belushi didn't do the role, and I'm not saying that as a disrespectful source because obviously he's a talent, and obviously there was he's had unfortunate circumstances in life, but this role was just hand in glove for Bill Murray. I mean, it was so hand in glove that unfortunately Ernie Hudson's role was the one that kind of got slightly shafted a bit because he was supposed to be a little bit earlier in this movie, and because they were trying to really emphasize on Peter Venkman and his comedy, that they cut out a little bit of Winston's role, even though I'd argue Winston had a very significant role as well. But
Pretty
Venkman
much
was
all
just,
the funny lines went to Venkman for the most part.
oh,
I mean, John Belushi and Venkman would have been. I think it would have been a good pairing. But the thing you have here is, I guess we got to address how big of change there was in the film overall between Aykroyd's original idea and what we got on the screen. Because Aykroyd's original idea, like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, shows up in like page 10. And
the beginning, yeah.
Yeah, the
Well, it was a
Ghostbusters have already been
sci-fi
ghostbusting
film,
for
though,
years. Yeah, and it was supposed to be like it takes place in both different space and time.
I was gonna say there's a space concept.
It was a huge fucking 200 plus page script that
It was
everybody's
as thick
like,
as the New York phone book.
well, that was what Dan Aykroyd was known for. Yeah, he was constantly, and he would, as jokes, he would actually send his scripts out in the cover for the fucking phone book as a joke. But like, and Blues Brothers and this were both notorious for that. But it was like a huge fucking script. But like, Ivan Reitman saw in it what it could be, and he got Harold Ramis involved. And Harold Ramis and Ivan had worked just recently on Stripes with Bill Murray, so they seen clearly that Bill Murray could take on the lead. John Candy was the choice, as just brought up initially for Lewis. But John came in, and John had a completely different take on the character than what they had in the script. The version in the script is what Rick Moranis became, right? Like that was, and how we got to that point was John kept going, well, I want to do it with like this German accent. And I want him to be like kind of like this, upper class kind of guy with two big Doberman pinchers, which should also play into him becoming a dog later. So he was like just overthinking this stuff, and he wanted to do this elaborate thing, and it just wasn't fitting. And he's even in the storyboards. Like if you see the storyboards for the movie, they storyboarded it for John Candy because it was supposed to be a big Stripes reunion. And it just got so close to the production, and John just kind of was like, I just don't, you guys are going a different direction than what I'm going. Look, you know who would be perfect for this? Rick, because those two worked on SCTV together. Yeah. He's like, Rick is this character, right? Like he in fact, he even had like not a degree, but I think he went to school for like accounting and shit and tax stuff. So like all that stuff that Rick Moranis says in the movie about all the tax crap, a lot of that is him improvising.
I hope you don't do your own taxes.
Yeah, all that stuff like at the party where he's like, this is Joan and Reggie, they're in receivership right now, so they're doing pretty good. Like all that stuff is like Rick Moranis just coming up with all that shit on the fly, I guess. So and I threw this party for clients instead of friends. That way I get to write it off for tax purposes. Like I think that was another thing that was his too. Like he just got the character. Like I said, he was the part. And so that was another thing where, and it was just John just graciously going, look, Rick is the part, give it to him. We'll work together on something else. Like it wasn't like there was any animosity or anything like that. And Eddie Murphy was a similar thing. They offered it to Eddie. Dan and him are still really good fucking friends from Trading Places. The chemistry was there. They wrote that part specifically for Eddie. And Eddie had a choice. He either could be in Ghostbusters or Beverly Hills Cop. And he chose Beverly Hills Cop. And look, he won in the end because Beverly Hills Cop ended up outgrossing Ghostbusters. Oh, I know it's hard to believe, but it's true.
No, it makes sense. Wasn't Murray also coming hot off a drama as well? He was coming off a drama.
Well, here's where Murray comes in.
He was about to do a drama.
Well, he did it already. Here's how this worked out. So here's the fucked up part with this.
Go for it.
Murray held out on the fucking studio because he knew they wanted him. And Dan did this, and it was his fault, and Dan regretted it. Dan said, look, you've been trying to do this passion project of yours, Razor's Edge, for a while. Present it to them that you'll do the movie if you get to do your passion project. He's like, brilliant. Okay. He did that, but what he told Columbia is he gets to shoot Razor's Edge first. Okay, so he went off to fucking like wherever it was, Indian shit, to shoot this movie while these guys were prepping Ghostbusters, and they didn't even know if Bill was gonna fucking show up because they couldn't find him. Because after he got done shooting Razor's Edge, he went and did a rough cut and screened it for the studio, and the fucking studio hated it. So he went and hid for about a week or two. And they could not find him on the phone, couldn't get a hold of him. They didn't know if he was going to show up or not. But the movie didn't get released until after Ghostbusters. That's why most people think it was after, but he shot it first. So he did not show up until the day of fucking shooting, and he had not read the script. He was in such piss poor shape. And most of that shit is the shit that's indoors stuff in New York. Then they moved to New York from the West Coast to shoot out in New York. And in between there's when he actually read the script. And he realized that he had the best fucking part in the whole movie and that it was hilarious. And that he finally fell in love with it. So by the time they got out to New York, that's where you kind of tell a shift in his character a little bit. And so because the first thing they shot when they got out to New York was all the Ghostbusters. And so he was playing to the crowd and he loved it. He loved the whole thing. And that was another thing too that day, because at that point they still hadn't decided on a name for the movie because Ghostbusters was owned by Filmation. And Filmation had made a show back in the 70s called Ghostbusters. And so they're like, well, we haven't worked the deal out with them yet. So what do we have for alternatives? There's like Ghost Breakers. There's a few other ones they had. Well, they got a hold of the studio that day because they tried to get all these extras to say anything but Ghostbusters, and they wouldn't. They're like, look, I don't know what the hell you got working out with Filmation, but you better figure something out quick because we got about 500 extras down here screaming Ghostbusters, and I can't get them to say anything else. Okay, so You loop it any way you want, it ain't gonna fucking work, right? So they're like, all right. So they made a deal with Filmation, and the amount varies. Okay, so depending on who you ask, it's either $500,000 was paid, $50,000 was paid, $25,000 was paid. It all depends on who you ask, because all the people at Columbia said they paid him pretty well, no problem, whatever, it was all taken care of. People on Filmation side said they took a lowball deal because they thought at least they had a handshake or a verbal acknowledgement or agreement that when it came to an animated series, if it happened, Filmation would get the rights to do so. That didn't come to be. They went with Deke, which was a much cheaper ass company instead, and pissed Filmation off. So what Filmation did was fast track a sequel to their Ghostbusters show and put it out a week before Real Ghostbusters dropped. And that's why the Real Ghostbusters is called The Real Ghostbusters instead of just Ghostbusters. So there you go, kids. That's the prehistory of this whole thing. But
And
when
they're
this
actually
movie
the
came out,
Ghostbuster copies, right? When you think about it.
yeah, they
they're
are.
not
In
the
a
real
way, it's weird.
Ghostbusters.
But it all comes around. But the funny thing was they did not think this movie was going to be for kids. That was their big misstep. Is they were making this as more of a Stripes kind of, and it's shot like a horror movie. It's scored like a horror movie, but the humor comes out, and the ghosts are real. The humor comes out of the Abbott Costello kind of camaraderie of the guys and the quippy nature of the situations and things like that. The humor that we naturally find within life. So that's why the movie's funny. They had no idea this movie was going to resonate with kids. So here they are with one of the biggest fucking movies of the year and absolutely no fucking merchandise to go with it outside of the soundtrack and some t-shirts. Okay, so like there's even this bit that Bill Murray did. There you go. There's the Filmation Ghostbusters.
Filmation Ghostbusters. Yep.
There's this bit that Bill Murray did. I believe it was on David Letterman at the time, where he's talking about how much of a success the movie is. He's like, yeah, look at all this merchandise we got. We got fly swatters, and we got Frisbee discs. Everybody loves these. He literally is bringing out crap because he's like pointing out that there's absolutely no fucking merchandise for this movie. And it's one of the biggest movies of the year. It took him 2 years to get the figures out for the damn thing. But yeah, so like it's just one of those things where they were ill prepared for this movie. The studio didn't believe in it. It was one of the most expensive productions that Sony had, well, not Sony, Columbia had put together at the time. They were still owned by Coke. So that's the other thing. Coca-Cola ran the company. So the head of the company just didn't get it. He hated the movie, and he didn't get it until
Coke is always in the movie.
That's why Coke is always in these movies from like 79 to 89 or 90, somewhere in there. I think Coke owned Columbia Pictures, and then Sony bought them. I think it was 89 or 90, somewhere in that region. But yeah, it was just one of those things that the studio didn't believe in it until they test screened it, and it tested through the fucking roof.
Yeah.
It was one of their, between this and Karate Kid for Columbia that year, were two of their highest tested films ever in history. Like, it was huge.
Wow.
So that everybody had a good year in 84.
Yeah. I mean, that dude, the fact that we've done 3 straight 1984 movies unintentionally, once again, might I add. And when we've looked at the box office mojo listing of the highest domestic grosses of that year, the successes that were on a weekly basis.
And this opened on the same day as Gremlins. And both of those were still high. Like, imagine that today. That's like Barbenheimer back then. I was
just about to say that. Yeah, that was
it's like Gremlin Busters, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what, like, it's the equivalent.
Grembuster. No, see, that really was that.
And they're two competing for the exact same fucking audience too. That's the other thing, right? Like,
the main.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, Murray. I remember seeing Razor's Edge with Bill Murray and thinking, what was he thinking taking this part? And then I found out that was his passion project.
Yeah.
And I went, you screwed this up so badly. And then you walk on, as you said, Tom, you walk onto the set of Ghostbusters the day the shooting starts. You haven't read, you haven't prepared, you have no idea what's going on. Murray is just the weirdest person in Hollywood.
See, and I think a lot of that stuff is what we're watching right now. So, well, no, some of this is New York. I'm sorry, you're right. But anyway, keep going.
But yeah, I mean, this was perfect for Rick Moranis, because this was the first time I really liked a Rick Moranis performance. I thought he was okay in Second City Television. He wasn't my favorite, but in this part, he just shone. He was perfect for this part, and I just laughed my ass off at him. And it's the first time I ever had. Yeah, and I cannot imagine John Candy playing his part. That just does
I
not
can't
compute.
either.
Well, not only that, it
can't
works
either.
so well against Sigourney Weaver, right? Because you got this 6 foot sexy woman
Wowzers.
up against Rick Moranis, who's 5 foot nothing.
Yeah,
Right.
you're right. No,
Okay.
that's why I can't imagine.
Exactly.
If you had John Candy, he'd be in the same size as her. It wouldn't have been the same kind of impact, right?
Exactly.
Because John Candy's like 6 foot, big dude, right? Like, so yeah.
Yeah. But they cast this really, really well. And in part, it almost seems, as you've been saying, Tom, almost by accident. It just fell together. Oh, we're gonna get John Candy. Now he says Rick Moranis would be better. Okay, we're gonna get Eddie Murphy. No, we're not. So we're gonna get Ernie Hudson. I mean, it just the way this cast fell together is phenomenal. And this is one of those cases where I suspect that when they first started filming this, with Murray showing up, having filmed Razor's Edge and not having a clue, not having read the script, the director must have been absolutely just terrified.
Ivan was not real happy at first, but he warmed up to things. Like I said, a lot of the stuff, the early stuff, I believe would be the stuff that was shot in the firehouse, because inside the firehouse is California, outside exteriors is New York.
Right.
Inside the apartment, I believe is California. So a lot of that stuff would be the California shoot. And then they moved out to New York for the rest of the shoot, because a lot of the exteriors, obviously, here's New York. When they're buzzing around, like they shot a lot of stuff just buzzing around New York with it's funny because especially on the 4K edition, you can tell 9.9 times out of 10, it's not any of the guys driving the ectomobile. And in fact, in Ghostbusters 2, you can tell even more. I've seen more times than not, it's Ivan Reitman driving it. You can tell.
This is a great one, though. You haven't been
President of an undersea unexplained mass sponge migration.
Oh, Ray, the sponge has migrated about 1.5 feet.
And there's all these little, sorry to interrupt, but all those little lines that like it's just a throwaway line, but it's like a mass sponge migration. So it's such a quotable movie. Like our friends and I, come on, don't you remember the mass sponge migration? And
this reminds me of the time you tried to drill a hole through your head.
Yeah,
that would have worked.
The scene the scene with Aykroyd and Murray out there on the steps when they run out of when they get kicked out of the college. He's just like, you never left college. You don't know what it's like. I've worked in the private sector. They expect results.
God,
an indictment of academia right there in just 3 lines.
When you have the 3 archetypes here with the guys, and then eventually the 4th with Winston, right? You have Bill Murray, who's just he's the tag along, right? He's the 3rd wheel, but he's also the car salesman.
Right.
And there's a bit of the bit that's deleted before this where they were getting fired, wherein he's like, I thought you said you floored them at the meeting. He's like, well, I guess I was wrong.
This will work.
Because so you can tell he's the guy that always talked to the board to make sure they keep funding, and he fucked up.
Right.
And whatever he said this time fucked up. But he's the used car salesman. You got Ray and Egon, who actually do all the fucking work, and the heart and the brains right there. Of course, but that which makes Bill Murray more of the backbone, basically, or the head, or whatever you want to call it. Because then you get Ernie Hudson, who's us, right? He's us. Yeah. He's the audience.
He's the normal guy of the bunch. He's the most normal guy of the bunch. He's the guy, when he says, man, I see all this crazy stuff. And the way he says that quote by it'll make you white. Yeah. Because he's seeing it from that lenses where the other guys are used to all the crazy, to then that's their normal. For him, it's just like, what the hell is all this? And that the paycheck line. Yeah. He is definitely the most human guy on the bunch in terms of being the most grounded.
It was funny because when he says, if you notice, when he says, I've seen shit that would turn you white, everybody else in the room winced. Everybody winced. Like, I don't believe he said that.
Well, it's the only one who could say that.
I know. Yeah. I know.
And I love it because he's like, I've only been with the company for a couple of months, but I have seen shit that'll turn you white. These things are real.
Yeah, I like how when they were originally Egon and Venkman were originally against getting that building, but all it took was for Ray to go down the pole, and they also like, oh,
This is
well,
great.
I guess he likes it, so I guess we're gonna take it.
You gotta try this pole.
You're listing off all the problems with the place, everything that was broken. But all it took was for one Raymond to be super hyped, and this is like, oh.
Well, that's what I love about this movie is how real world it is. Like they pick the shithole of a place they got to fix up. I love it when they bring in the car. It's like, oh, it just needs a few things like brakes, pads, shocks,
electricals,
everything a car fucking needs.
Yeah.
And you watch Bill Murray's eyes just bulge out. And he's like, how much? 4,800. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Imagine back then, that's like fucking 12 grand or whatever, like now or more.
Oh.
So they're just pissing away this money that they already have a huge fucking interest load on. And it's like, yeah, so they're not bringing any money in, right? That's the other part too.
Yeah.
And it's just brilliant because
as Egon says, the interest in the first 9 months on this mortgage is $93,000.
Ghostbusters, we're ready to believe you.
You didn't even bargain with the guy.
Right.
And then again, a key where I told you guys before, they let Bill do all the talking, right? Like they never, Ray and Egon know to shut the fuck up when it comes to the strings. Right? Because otherwise they're going to fuck something up. So they've been through this a million times over. No matter how bad it turns out in the end, you just let him talk because he's the used car salesman. He may not know anything about molecular structure or metallurgy, but he does know how to sell cars. Now, there are other two guys here. Like, I love that because then they keep picking on him with you never study. You never study.
You know what's funny with Raymond's?
I don't know anything, you know.
What's funny about Dan Aykroyd? He actually ended up being in a movie where it'd be about selling cars. Tommy Boy. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. How
not selling cars so much as brake pads, but
brake pads. Tommy Callahan. Tommy Callahan. Yeah, I noticed that too, Dobo. Where she did buy a bag. She bought the bag of the Stay Puft marshmallows. And it was honestly, I'll admit, that's not something I didn't know until my adult years. I didn't notice that as a kid, as a teenager. I didn't notice that until I was, I'd say, earlier mid-20s, I think. And I'm not even that sorry, but
we do a lot of good world building in this movie. Yeah.
I'm seeing that. I do remember, though, the day I did say, I was like, whoa. I had my
which also brings me to the end of my point I was making is like you get to their tools, right? They are so homemade.
Yeah.
Like I love how they feel like they could blow up at any fucking time.
Oh yeah.
An unlicensed thermonuclear reactor.
And they switch me on, and then they try and edge away in an elevator.
It's gonna make a difference.
Like it's gonna make a difference. You're an extra 5 inches away. That's gonna help.
And I just want to say,
and you hear that bass hum in the elevator, and they just start inching away.
That's what we're talking about, yeah. But I just want to say about the commercial real quick before we move past the commercial. What I love about the commercial, if you watch the commercial, you'll notice this now. And Harold Ramis did this on purpose. Egon checks for his marks.
Well, this was actually the first thing.
Ghostbusters, we're ready to believe you.
Wasn't that the first thing they shot?
Yes, or one of the first things, yeah. Because the whole thing is whenever Egon, he looks down, steps into place, says his line, looks down, steps back, steps into place. That's what he's doing. He's doing like one of the biggest no-nos for an actor, and that is looking for your mark on them. And it's just little subtle jokes, right? Like, yeah.
And look at his face at the end.
Ghostbusters, we're ready to believe you.
His left eye, watch it.
Because you know what happened before that. Here's what I picture happening in my head before that. They're like Ray and Peter are like, you gotta fucking smile. I don't smile. You gotta fucking smile. I don't smile. Try. Don't do that. No, like I'm doing.
You know
he's
how
trying to facsimile a smile is what he's doing.
Yes.
You know how I know it's the first day filming? They look like guys who are just started at a brand new job the first day. You know how people make sure they look their absolute best mint condition? This shot right here looks like they look absolutely like, okay, this is the first day of making a movie. That shot looks like the first day of a new job type of photo.
And what's funny is there is an actual smiling moment from Egon, a couple of smiling moments, but the big one is when he starts talking about Ivo Shandor and all that shit. You watch his face, he almost gets orgasmically joyous like a little child as he's talking about this shit. So it's like, okay, that's his trigger. That's his trigger.
Yeah.
That's the only time, shit like that is what gets him off, right? Like, so the other times it's like, whatever. He's
This reminds me of the time you tried to drill a hole through your head. Remember that? That would have worked if you hadn't stopped me.
Yeah, he doesn't even.
I mean, let's remember.
Yeah.
Let's remember what Egon's hobbies are. He collects spores, molds, and fungus.
Spores, molds, and fungus. Yeah,
should be
we
fun
had a
guy
slinky
though.
once, a half a slinky, but I straightened it.
Yeah.
That's like
why
one of
his
the
character's
best
so
lines
brilliant.
of part 2. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
It's
a
like-
world within a world. Like you see the Ghostbusters clip, and all the reporters in this movie, like Roger Grimsby. I grew up watching Roger Grimsby, so they're all New York reporters, and it's not like some
Kasem
movies
and
have
stuff?
fake people. Yeah, Casey Kasem's voices in this, and that's his wife.
and that's
I
his
think.
girlfriend. Yeah,
his girlfriend
And
or wife,
and
and as the blonde who's
the ditzy blonde.
over at the
Yeah.
counter. Yeah, so but it's
the thing
believable.
about Egon is the fact that he understood that about geeks, science geeks. Once they start talking, they're so excited. That's when they become who they are. He's in his
Yep.
element. And that's why he smiles, because he's excited about what he's talking about.
Yes.
Nerds do it too.
Yep, and this is where Dana gets to see the world inside her
Ooh.
fridge.
And especially look at his face when he talks about the unnecessary surgeries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
A lot of unnecessary surgeries.
You don't think it's too subtle?
You don't think
I
that
love
was
the hand-drawn banner.
Yeah.
Oh, the other car.
The look on Gomer's face.
It's the suspension. Everything. This guy, they just needed a new car, period. Only 4,800. So, okay, you're talking. Yeah, I think you're right, Tom. This would have been. You're right. This would have been our.
That's a lot of money back then.
Today.
Yeah.
Would,
Oh, yeah.
You might as well just get a new car. So
Should've
basically,
bought a
you
truck.
a new car.
Who
What the
didn't have a
fuck are they
hot
doing buying
spot
it?
for Janine?
A
on
new
this
car was
panel?
about 15 grand back then in '86.
Not only that, what did they do? They bought a hearse just because it's funny that they're running around in a fucking hearse or a. It's actually an old ambulance, but
Yeah,
Well, they used it for both. Yeah, it was either hearse or an
yeah, it was
ambulance,
both. Yeah, then it became more associated with a hearse. That's the joke. But like in reality, you'd get a fucking van. Like what the hell?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
But the
That
A-Team,
car's
the
what's
A-Team had already done that.
That line, I wanted to mention that. I was just like, because when we were rewatching, I was like, he really just said that. Print is dead.
He was 40 years ahead of the game. But no, speaking of Janine being sexy, did you notice how she smiled after
Yeah.
gun came up between her legs?
So I'm just going to ask you guys though. What I wanted to know is like, which one of you didn't have like a crush on her as a kid?
I think everybody has like a nerd girl crush on her, but we all knew that she was sexy anyway. So yeah.
Oh
Well,
my god,
she
yeah,
is
any pot.
she is one of the two female characters I can think of off the top of my head who gets sexier as a movie goes on. The other one is the fire starter in Hellboy.
I collect spores, molds, and fungus.
Yes.
Should be fungi, just for the grammar police people out there. Should be fungi.
Right.
He wouldn't have made that mistake.
Yes.
Maybe
Yeah,
he just
she
collected
gets
one
better-
mark. Maybe he just collected one.
He collected
fungus.
one.
That was
Right.
it.
Bill
One
Murray
fungus.
almost
That was the collection,
nosedive
one
on this
fungus.
one. If you're watching it, you can see his foot clips the door there because they only did the one take, and he almost would have went if he would have been just a few inches off, he would have went tumbling face first into the ground.
Oh no.
Because he wasn't supposed to do that anyway. He's just supposed to come out like rushing out, but he just literally leaps over the fucking door. You can hear his foot catch it too. It's funny as shit. You see it move a little bit, yeah.
She's telling the
She's
truth.
telling the
At
truth.
least she thinks she is. Yeah. Oh man, yeah.
Who would make up a story like that?
You'd
nowadays,
be surprised.
Nowadays, you see that line is more applicable now because nowadays people will imagine that and so much more.
That's why I love the line later on, dropping off or picking up.
Yep.
because after a while it's gonna get to be like, and I love the cop how he's just like, look, we got this guy and we don't want to take him to the lockup, and we sure as hell don't want to take him to the nut house, and you guys are into this stuff, so thought maybe you'd want him. Better bring him inside.
I think he said Bellevue didn't want him.
Oh yeah, they didn't want him. Yeah, they didn't want him.
So crazy.
We don't want to take him to the lockup, and Bellevue didn't want him, but I know you guys are into this.
Yeah.
Should you check him and take a look at him?
Because he's fucking possessed by a demon. Because I think there's a bunch of stuff that's cut out of that. I don't know if there was ever anything of him in the jail part, but there's like that's the one thing you were talking about earlier, Nick, where where Bill Murray's basically doing the Caddyshack voice again. Because him and Dan Aykroyd are playing homeless guys. And there was a couple more extra bits of Rick Moranis running around doing weird shit, so it's kind of funny to see him. But he's got superhuman strength and all that shit, so he probably kicked the shit out of some. Because I know he kicks the shit out of some vandals and that try to rob him, and that's another scene that got cut out.
Hey Tom.
So I could see him having issues with him in prison or jail.
That's the bedroom, but nothing ever happened in there. What a crime!
Yeah. I wonder which lines are ad-libbed and
great
which
line. That's gotta be an ad-lib.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm gonna do a slight dial back here. We went from a 0 to a 1 in toxicity just for that line.
Oh no, Bill Murray is toxic as fuck.
Yeah. Here's another toxic line here.
Are you, Alice, menstruating right now?
What has that got to do with it?
Back off.
Back off, man. I'm a scientist.
That actually has to do with that has to do with an actual haunting.
A little bit.
A haunting back in 1800s.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. That's why he asked that question, because it's a theory behind some hauntings. Because
they see
young girls.
Did they see a full torso vaporous
10
apparition?
people witnessed a free-floating, full-torso vaporous apparition. It blew books off shelves from 20 feet away and scared the socks off some poor librarian.
I'm very excited. Oh my!
Oh yeah, there's
God.
a Coca-Cola there, right?
All the junk food.
Look at those advertisements in the fridge.
You eat this stuff?
There's a
Product
Diet
placement,
Coke
man.
when he was working on the car.
Speaking of foods, have you seen many
there's a Diet
food-based
Coke in the
items
scene,
for
right?
Frozen Empire, Tom? I've seen the Cheetos, the ghost pepper Cheetos.
Oh, they're putting it on all kinds of shit. Yeah, I haven't seen much
I haven't
yet.
seen too many. Maybe it's just I haven't been to stores outside of
I've
where I
been
normally
pretty
go
isolated,
to.
yeah.
But I would like to know, because I remember there's a good amount when Afterlife came out, and I remember
There's a Slurpee. There's a few other
there's
things
the
out
cereal. The cereal's good. I remember I bought the cereal a lot of times. I even helped my girlfriend's brother get a few of them. There's even some places, even during the non-existent movie from before, there was Ecto Cooler, which I actually ordered from a Heb in Texas. I remember, because they had them in the aluminum cans at the time. And it was cool. It was rather than just a traditional high C pack, it was in a can, and then you got the changing of the color, which is cool. Oh man, it was
Wait
so
a minute, Nick.
You gotta back that up a bit.
Did you say Heb?
HEB.
It's
Yeah, Heb. There's from Texas. I don't know how it's pronounced.
There's a Ghost Trap popcorn bucket at AMC's.
Yeah,
there's a couple of popcorn buckets out. I know Nick's got one that he got a double for me.
I finally got the package. I finally got the box. I had to find a special box to make it fit snug.
No worries, brother.
This is my favorite line right here.
Yeah, I got to clip that next. Yeah, this is one. I use this line all the time.
Actually, now
we got hold of more. We got hold
nice.
of more. Yeah, here I'll zoom in.
Oh wait, yeah, I'm big in yourself, Nick.
I'm in beginning.
Yeah, I've seen all these, but yeah, that's awesome.
Well, that's
We're not
nice.
just in beginning. You're engorged.
Oh, I am.
Yeah, finish that.
Yeah, I can drink out
Slime
Slimer,
City.
guys. You can watch me drink out Slimer. I'm just saying. Yeah, no, these things are pretty awesome, and yeah, because we want to get a hold of the Proton Pack, and she went to the movie
The
theater. at
backpack was $99. Yeah.
She wanted to get the Proton Pack. She went yesterday after work, and they said they don't get them until Thursday. And obviously, we're going to be, across the country. So, okay, well, that's the equation.
Is it a popcorn holder proton pack?
Yes.
It's $100.
Yes.
It's an
Oh, I don't know about a popcorn holder. I know there was a backpack that looked like a popcorn backpack.
backpack?
That's what I was talking about.
Okay.
I don't know about the other thing.
Oh,
That's news.
Because I saw one was a ghost trap.
Are you
They're
talking
doing
about
a
the ghost trap?
Yeah, ghost
That
trap.
holds
That's what I
popcorn.
meant to say. Sorry, the ghost trap.
It's $100.
No, that's
What?
only like
No,
No,
it's like
backpack
$25 bucks.
I was talking about the
okay,
backpack.
okay. Oh, backpack. Sorry. Yep. Yeah. I got to justify my purchases, so I want to get that ghost trap. So
I'm really upset
$25
they never
is
came out with a
swing.
zero sugar ecto cooler though.
You would think,
Yes, of course.
at the
they're
time when that
serious.
was new, I mean, I could see it passing more now because there's definitely more of a market for it now compared to then, per se. I could see definitely why you would be kind of confused at that. I do
Because
gotta
when
try
it came
those
out
Cheetos.
last
though.
time, I was just starting keto and I still got some, but
You still got some. We got one. This is a great slime.
I was gonna say now might be a place to play that outtake that I sent you guys last week. If you got
Oh,
it.
yeah, let me grab that. Yeah.
Go ahead. Let's play it. Come
Let's see. Where did it go? Where did I? Oh, I download. I gotta add it. Let's see. I downloaded it. Where did I
do it?
I gotta
Come
find it.
on.
Keep
Here, I
talking while
got
I
it.
find it.
I got it.
You got it.
I
You got it.
got
Okay.
it.
Well,
Yeah.
get to the rescue.
Yeah, I get it. I'm sharing my screen. Okay. And okay. And let's go.
Biggin.
Here's to satisfying our first customer.
Well, I'll drink to that.
I'm gonna need to draw some petty cash. Take her to dinner, you know, we don't want to lose her.
This magnificent feast here represents the last of the petty cash.
Okay, eat slow. Did you ever get the figures on what would happen if we burn the place? If we set fire, you get $100 bucks. You like that?
Oh, it's good. Thank you, Tom, for that clip. Stroke.
Save us a
of
few thousand
genius.
bucks.
Oh, that's a nice plate. Yeah, look at that. Now that's
Ecto one. Yeah, we
that's
saw everyone
looks
cheered in the movie
great.
theater. Yeah.
Well, this is a glamour shot. This was also one of the first things I think they did because this is one of the first things that was in the teaser trailer. Because if you see that early teaser trailer, you can hear the first version of the Ghostbusters song that they didn't use from a different artist, and the song sucks.
Did they
It's a
have like
horrible song.
numerous different artists they were trying out to see like which song would resonate?
Well, they were going to a
the
few
most?
different artists, and one of the reasons that Huey Lewis won his case was that they had come to him too.
Yes, and he turned them down.
Yeah. Yeah, they did try quite a few people. I don't remember the artist who did the other version. It's out there. You can find it on eBay. It's a really shitty song. It's not very good.
Yeah, the song we haven't really talked about, but that helps to make this movie
Oh,
too.
God,
it gets
yes.
you right in the mood, and you're
yeah.
all psyched to see the movie, and
It helps sell the movie.
Yeah, I mean, it gets you right into it. It just works so
I
well.
remember hearing
And
that song at like the skating rink and everything when I was a kid.
It was a huge hit. Huge hit. That's what I'm saying.
was.
Yeah.
And the music, not just the theme song, but the music is fantastic too. The track, I mean, it's just orchestration is great. It's just like
Elmer Bernstein's score is good. Yeah,
the score is just really good. Yeah, so everything.
And he scored quite a few comedies.
Yep.
Right.
Well, and he knew how, right? Stripes
Right.
and Animal House and stuff like that. Yeah.
Animal House, I believe, was his first, and they told him, no, we don't want it scored like a comedy. We want it scored like a serious movie. And then
He did the
as you
same
said-
thing here in Stripes. Yeah.
Yeah, and as you said, Tom, everybody here is playing straight. This is played as a horror movie,
Yeah.
but the situational comedy is what you laugh at. Some of the
Like
quips, just some of the quick one-liners that somebody comes up with, because you do that under stress. I mean,
Yeah, because the movie's not
become a
written
wise.
as
When
comedy.
when stuff starts to get tense, you start. A lot of people become wise asses.
Great
Bill Murray's
example
character
here.
is the best.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
here's
it's
the
all
example.
based on the reactions. It's not written as a comedy. It's written
Right.
pretty straightforward.
Well, speaking of reactions,
Yeah, reactions that make it
this is a
funny.
genuine reaction out of this lady.
Really?
She knew there was she knew there was going to be an explosion, but she didn't realize how big it was going to be. So her, what the hell are you doing? Is an actual real, what the hell are you doing?
Trying to kill me. Yeah.
Right.
You're like Richard, like this line here.
Symmetrical book stacking, just like the Philadelphia Man's Turbulence of 1947.
You're right. No human being would stack books like this.
But
I mean, that line doesn't work without Bill Murray, right?
I
Right,
will
it
not
doesn't.
forget the first time I ever saw this scene. It's stuck. This is the first thing I ever.
Is he your hero, Nick, for the amount of hot
that
dogs and
green
food he can-
blob? Him eating food. I just remember thinking, "What the hell is that?" As a kid. Of course, yeah, Slimer's basically a pothead that's a monster, and
But he's got to be a hero with the amount of food he can consume, right?
I'm sure Slimer could give me a run for my money if we're gonna be very fair here. I mean,
Who could eat more pizza, Slimer or Nick?
he'd be good competition. Admittedly, he would be good competition, but I wouldn't go down without a fight when it comes to Slimer. I don't want to have my legacy be that I failed miserably to a green blob. And seeing Ray's face behind is priceless. Oh man.
And what's
Hot
amazing
dogs.
how popular Slimer came to be, especially the animated series.
Yeah.
Originally, they made it, they wanted him to be a scary ass monster, and then people fell in love with them. So then, in the second movie, he was supposed to be. They cut those scenes where he was supposed to be, more of a hero, and then he's, who is he driving? There's a cut scene where he's driving Lewis to the airport or something, yeah, it just. Yeah, in the second movie, but Slimer becomes, especially the cartoons and the toys. It's in this
he
movie
became
is a scary.
super marketable. Yeah, we have a few Slimer plushies here. Yeah, it's just like how the rest of this movie, like the look of the movie with the music, it's all supposed to be stuff that's, I guess, supposed to be scary-ish, but yet this movie was unintentionally one of the most marketable movies for kids. Even with Slimer, because that should tell you something. But yeah, here we are, and yeah, my children love Slimer. My children like the first Ghostbusters movie. They think it's.
I gotta say, the bus scene is still in the movie. The stuff that's cut was when Lewis was trying to catch him. That's all the stuff that was caught.
Oh, that was good. Yeah, because I was reading, they said there was too much.
The part where he's like, "Oh, it's you." That's still in the movie. I didn't know you had your license.
Oh wow! Here's our first facial. I mean,
you slime me.
Not your last.
Great actual physical contact. Yeah. Can you move?
That's great, Ray. Say it's it's up for me. Ooh, oh man, that is that's a bit frisky there to be having.
And they're and they're at the fancy place now, right? All the mucky mucks are gonna go crazy, right? I love this scene.
Yep.
That's
all the rich people are gonna go nuts.
Oh, dude, and this is where they bring the house down, and of course the freaking guy who runs the building try to get his ass out of such. I was like, dude, these guys freaking make sure your business is a business, and you try to weasel your way out to like, oh, I guess we'll let Slimer back out. The audacity on this bastard, man! Like, are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? Oh man,
You want us to put it back?
Yeah, right. He wants to put it back. Yeah, he changes his tune really quickly, but no, it's a great way to finally solidify that hey, these guys are the real deal. What they do out there, it's legitimate. They actually are a job that seeks out supernatural threats, and it's cool to see. And before you know it, now they're town celebrities. They get a cooler sign up on the building. People know who they are, and it leads to the status where they're on the magazines, talk shows, and all that jazz. Yeah, now before you know it, they are everywhere, and that's literally what happened in real life after this movie took off. They were everywhere. So this movie art was a life imitated art, basically, in this situation. Is it funny how that happens?
I've always wanted to do this. And the flowers are still standing.
Spengler, I want to find it. Oh yeah, I mean, this blew my mind saying this because this is so cool. Seeing the musical to bring that creature down. I like the coordination and the communication, the teaming up because they all had a role on how to bring this creature down. I was like, that's when you show teamwork actually making dreams work right here.
Well, that's the first time they ever did it too, right? And that's what's funny about the part where Spengler's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, don't cross the streams." What do you mean?
that and shorten your stream. I don't want my face burned off.
Like they're literally like just they have no idea what the fuck they're doing.
Right.
And I love the bit afterwards here where he's like going through the prices and you got Egon going to the side of his face like,
we came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
We're gonna need this much and this much and this much for proton charging and incarceration of the beast.
All that's
Class 5 full roaming vapor.
Real nasty one too.
Now for the entrapment, we're gonna have to ask you for $5,000.
Now watch Egon.
Special and the storage of the beast.
Oh, I'm watching it.
Oh, you cut it out. But like on the side of his face, he's doing the numbers. So Peter knows what to ask for. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, what a sleazeball.
Everything is comedy gold in this movie. Like there's
it is.
It is.
Nothing that doesn't work. There's no jokes that fall flat. There's Roger Grimsby. Yep. I used to watch him all the time as a kid. Yep.
Did you know that Ernie Hudson actually had like a little bit of a ghost story shortly after he made this movie?
He got busted?
Yeah. No. Like, yeah.
Hey, there's Nick.
Now, Ernie Hudson, apparently, him and his family went to stay at a haunted house.
Really?
And they had stayed there, and apparently they had heard spooky sounds, saw weird things happening. Apparently, and then people who were staying after them were saying that they had similar experiences. So, unlike the cultural experience where Ghostbusters became big in this movie and the way the movie became big, another once again life imitating art when Ernie Hudson actually did have a ghost experience after this movie. So, yeah, life imitating art in quite a few ways after this movie came out. More ways than one, aka.
My understanding is that Dan Aykroyd wrote this because he really is a true believer in
his dad was actually really heavy into that stuff.
Yeah. Omni.
He's got that critical stuff.
I've never heard of Omni. I
subscribed to it. Yeah, I have subscribed to that when it first came out and gave it up after like 3 years because I got bored. But it was a science and science fiction magazine.
Big nerd magazine, yeah.
Yeah, it was a nerd magazine from big time.
It's the kind of thing that Paul Chatto probably has every magazine of it.
He's got
in a storage container.
Yeah, one in pristine copy. Yeah, one in
he read, one he put bagged and boarded straight away.
Right.
Omni was owned by Penthouse, says Davina.
Is it just a myth? It doesn't have any arms or legs.
That was a typical Bill Murray line there. No job is too big. No fee is too big.
That's another.
Elvis, and have you seen him lately?
Yes.
Ghostbusters Super Diet.
Oh, the globe.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the globe. Yes.
And now here's part of a bit. Oh, go ahead.
That's what I was going to say. That was a staple of the supermarket checkout line, along with the National Enquirer.
Now, here's part of an extended bit or a deleted bit that never made its way into the movie. That's why they used it in this montage
during an investigation
at Fort Detmer. So when they're like, we got to find Ray later on in the movie, that's where Ray and Winston are actually at this place, and that's where they're coming back to New York from. And that's why he's wearing this outfit and shit like that, is because he put it on and they're just goofing around and shit. And then he's like laying down, and all of a sudden this ghost shows up and gives him a blowjob. And Winston's like, Ray, are you all right in there? And he's like, not now, man, later.
That's very toxic.
I remember when I saw C as a kid, I was really confused. I was like, why is he acting weird? And then all of a sudden, when I was a teenager, I was like, Wow.
Yep.
Oh,
That
look at
snuck
that
through the
sign
censors.
upgrade. Woo!
Yeah.
That's a smoking sign. I
Air
like that
photography,
sign. Oh, hey, Tom's
telekinetic
got one on the
movement.
side. We're zooming in on your side. Ooh,
Oh,
look at the
nice.
shine now.
There you
And it
go.
lights
Yeah.
up.
Ooh.
And it keeps
That
away
gives
ghosts too at night, which is great.
that is nice.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. No job is too big. No fee is too big.
God bless my friend Rob who passed away, but he did a central vac business for years, and clients would ask him like, "Could you install a central vac, in my detached garage?" And he'd always be like, "No job is too big, no fee is too big." He'd be like, "If you pay me enough money, I'll do it for you." But yeah, it was just we always just with friends, you just quote this movie endlessly. Just
Yep.
and I went to go see this originally with a bunch of buddies, and I wanted to go see, of course, I wanted to go see Star Trek 3, The Search for
Yeah.
Spock, and I got overruled, which was okay because I got to see it later, and I don't think they would have liked that as much. But yeah, I mean, this is just a movie you can go back and back to see it. And when it came back into theaters, now it's probably like 15, 20 years ago, I took my daughter to see it when she was like 10 or 12 with another friend and her, his kids, and we all had a great time seeing in the movie theater as good as our home theater systems are. There's nothing like being in the movie theater cheering and having fun with a whole group of people. I mean, it's just and the special effects still hold up too on this movie. Maybe the dog looks, the couple of times the dog is moving, maybe doesn't look great, but who cares? But most of the time, the practical effects look phenomenal in this movie. And
Well, I love the practical effects used on the miniature mixed with large when they show the explosion out of the top of the firehouse, and you can actually see the squib tray in the shot that's holding the squib. You can actually see the ring of it.
Holy shit.
Oh, look at D. Bud Martin.
Fuck.
He never does anything like that for me.
He doesn't like you.
He likes you, Nick.
Bud
Nick.
Martin.
$32.
Man, for 32.
You can get 3
Awesome.
large pizzas from Pizza Hut right now on that.
Says get a huge pizza on your trip. On me, one condition, no pineapple. By the way, one of my customers at the comic shop was a real paranormal investigator and was a consultant on this movie. He had a cool jacket with the logo on it. Dude, that's some information. And yes, we're going to go Gypsy Poet in Houston. I can't wait for that. That's a place we're going to be trying out. I can't wait to try out. So we'll see. Probably the best place in Houston. So I can't wait to try it out. So I'm looking for it. Thank you, Deba. That is insanely generous, man.
Thank you, D-Bug. So we know who to call.
Who you gonna call? I used to have to take clothes off on my show to get like stuff like that.
People paid for you not to do that. They paid for you not to do
Yeah,
that.
they're paying me to put it back on.
Yeah, that was insane.
That
Wow.
must have been one of your paranormal shows, Gary, because I mean that would be the spooky.
When
spookiest
isn't
thing
my
anyone
show
had ever seen.
paranormal?
We
Like, that body can't be real.
We
That's gotta be
we
an
just
alien.
missed a great line, I think, where when they asked about if Winston wanted to get in on a job, he's like, "Well, if there's a steady paycheck in it, I'll believe anything you say." I actually did have a friend who used that line at an interview once. I had a friend, he actually used that line. I was just like, "You really said this?" It's like I can't help myself. I think it was for Circuit City at the time. Do you remember Circuit City?
Yes.
Yeah, he said it like he got the job though. He got the job. I don't know
I
if
got
that
a
was the line that
router.
sold him, but he did use that. He told me.
I got a $75 router for like $5 from Circuit City when they were closing. It was great.
God, Circuit City. Yeah, I almost got a
How
job.
many megs was that thing?
This is back in the early, what was that? 2009?
Was it
When
300
was it?
baud? Was
It
it a
was like
300 baud modem?
2009 or 10 when it closed down.
It was
Circuit
right in that area,
Shitty.
and so you couldn't use that router today. It was
Yeah, Circuit Shitty. I remember them because they always looked really dark in there, and they always had pretty much everything Best Buy had, but a lot less of. I was just like, man, this building's weird. And then they expanded to another location that was bigger. It was just more emptier. I was like, wow. So that was the upgrade. That was the upgrade.
And we have the EPA, who's actually correct, but still treated like a villain here, which is kind of funny.
Which is why I thought in the news show they would make him the hero this time.
You would think so, wouldn't you? The way things are today.
He might be in the new. He's the mayor in the new movie. I know that, or something like that.
And it's really bizarre because he's coming across as classic Dickless.
But the funny part is he is technically correct here, right? Like none of this shit is licensed,
right?
None of it's
They don't know what they're doing. Yeah,
they have no idea if it's actually, there's any radiation, or I mean, sure they've probably done what they could, but that's what I love. Earlier, like I was saying earlier, I love how it's all just kind of put together,
cobbled together,
bubble gum and fucking
spit baling wire. Yeah, I love that line though.
Anything involves the government to me is more likely I'm going to see as a villain.
Yeah,
especially
Atherton's
because the government is just as incompetent about all these things, and all these alphabet companies are a front to make them look like they're smart, like the OSHAs of the world.
I have used that line. I have used that bit about the Twinkie. It would be a Twinkie about 35 feet long, weighing 600 pounds.
That's a lot of cream.
Sounds ideal.
That's a lot of cream.
What about the Twinkie?
Tell them about the Twinkie. Yeah. What about the Twinkie?
It's you.
Oh yeah.
You made a date tonight?
That was really good, Tom. I can hear the Lewis in your voice.
That's okay. You can bring him along.
I'll tell everybody. He gets locked out of his own party.
He gets locked.
The gag is that he's the key master, and he keeps locking himself out.
Right. Yeah.
Irony of ironies.
And her life is about to take a turn. Oh boy, everything changes here. And all because she thinks she's going to be going out with Peter Venkman. And well, the door opens literally for her change. And Venkman has a great experience going to visit her.
There is no Dana, only Zool.
I remember rewatching that scene. I was like, I wonder, like when she came up, like above the bed, were they trying to pay homage to The Exorcist with that scene?
Yeah.
So they were, because I never looked into it, but
because she's completely possessed like The Exorcist.
Yeah. And I was like, I wonder if that is, and I never looked into it, but it just seemed plausible. That is one ugly.
I love the terror dogs. They're so bitching.
Terror dogs do look freaking awesome. I agree, straight up. Yeah, I remember this scene. I was just like, I guess this is a good way, like, especially if you're like if you're a parent and you want to, like, I guess you could say, ease your kids into more intense movies. I'd say this is a good balance of it because there's a lot of the kiddie elements, but there's enough darkness that could probably kind of like, whoa, that's kind of scary, but it's not too scary because there's stuff there to balance out the darkness, the tonal shift of the movie as well. I'd say Ghostbusters is a good gateway. It's kind of like the way if kids were getting to like scarier stories, R.L. Stine with the old school Goosebumps is a good gateway. You want to ease them into the process rather than just go full on in. So, Lewis, I'm going home. Don't leave yet. Listen, maybe if we start dancing, though, people join in.
Casey's wife there, Jeannie, I think is her name. Famous DJ who always did, the top 40 countdown.
Oh, Casey Kasem.
Yeah. Casey Kasem.
He's actually in the movie, and I think you brought that up earlier too.
Yeah.
Lewis's party is so filled with random people. It kind of reminds me of when the cable guy had a party at Matthew Broderick's house in the cable guy, and you just had the most, like, everyone just was so out of place at the party. I'm like, that's Lewis's party.
Yeah, that's because they were all clients or had got the freebie cable, wasn't it?
But yeah, it was because they had the cable service.
They were all there through that. They were he's such a great guy.
Okay, who brought the dog?
Oh man!
Somebody brought a cougar to a party and it started tearing up somebody's apartment. You're not supposed to have any pets in the building. Superintendent's gonna be pissed.
Well, yeah, he runs all the way down, and so that clearly that thing.
This is some of the best shit. No, I'm sorry, Rick.
That thing must have had like strong like Wolverine like scent because he got the drop.
Milk bone.
He got the drop on the Terror Dog running a good amount of distance, but yet still the Beast was still able to freaking catch up to him and know exactly where he was. So that
loose in my apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the special effects here when the bear, the terror dog jumps, but when you can see what goes to the live action puppet, it's really damn good. And it's before CGI, there's no option there. And
what a bear in his apartment.
There it goes. And they're gonna end up at Tavern on the Green, which is a very famous restaurant in New York City.
Yep.
I've eaten there a few times. It closed in the open. Oh yeah, I've eaten there, and that's it. I mean, that's a very expensive place to live. So as a fourth-year accountant, he's raking in some bucks because Tavern on the Green.
Well, they live in Central Park West, which is a very upper class. It's there. It's a real place.
It's about the second most expensive neighborhood in Manhattan.
Yeah,
the Upper East Side is the most expensive, I think.
Well, Dana literally plays with the orchestra and shit, so I'm sure she makes pretty goddamn good money.
Oh yeah. Well, let's put it this way: John Lennon lived on Central Park West.
There you go. Yeah,
the Dakota Building. Yes, but this is this isn't a Hollywood mock-up. This is because I've been there.
Real place. Yeah,
this is the actual.
No, they
restaurant.
shot a lot in New York, surprisingly. So yeah.
But
no one does anything. The guy gets attacked in New York.
As soon as he disappears, that's the funniest thing. As soon as he disappears, every single head in the room turns back to their conversations.
Yeah.
Not one person keeps looking to see if anything happens.
Now, is the dog visible to everyone else? That was my question watching this.
Well, the dog had some distance. The dog did have some distance from the mirror, so they saw him first because it's clear, like that area.
He was possessed by the dog, so the dog disappeared. So yeah, they didn't see the dog, but the
couldn't
doorman
see
and stuff obviously did.
The doorman did, right?
So yeah, that's the whole thing. Is the dog comes into them as like one, they become one being or whatever. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, that was my question. Yeah. Because I've seen this movie probably 50 times, but
I know I thought the same thing a dozen times before that too, and that's the best thing I could come up with, man. Because it's like it can't be invisible because the doorman and everybody else see it.
And they jump out of the way. Yeah. It's not like it knocks him over. Yeah. And then, he becomes possessed and the dog disappears. So, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, this is a horrible scene here, too. This is very tragic. Very sad. I hated this possession.
Well, here's the scene the Wokey-Wokes come after because why the fuck does Bill Murray got Thorazine on a date?
Back up, man. He's a scientist.
And he rejects her. That's
The only thing I know, that's what I usually come to the defense of. First of all, he doesn't take advantage of such situations. Second of all, he has a medicine bag there, so clearly these guys have been involved in enough shit for long enough now that they, no matter where they go, they probably have like a pack they bring with them.
Yeah.
He has protection,
but he's got to qualify it. I got a rule not to get involved with possessed people. Well, it's more of a guideline than a rule.
I want you inside me. Well, it sounds like you already got enough in there already.
Right. Go ahead. No, don't.
God.
It's like the devil, going back and forth,
Yeah, Bill's arguing with himself. Do it. No.
I remember now. It sounds like you've at least got 2 or 3 people in there already. I was like, whoa.
Might get a little crowded.
Yes.
Oh, man.
No, and I always defend that because it's like, obviously, he could have took full advantage of her. He didn't.
Yeah,
right.
And like I said, being Ghostbusters as long as they have, they're probably used to going set out on calls like this where people think they're possessed or are hysterical.
Crazy,
and since they are doctors, they can administer things like that. So
a medical doctor can. A PhD in psychology cannot.
Well, I don't know what Bill is. See, that's the other.
He's a PhD in psychology. He tells the EPA guy he has a PhD in psychology and one in parapsychology. neither of whom can prescribe drugs.
Ah, good point. I
So,
thought he was.
He knows what he's doing.
Are you sure a psychologist couldn't though?
No,
No, you need a medical
psychiatrists can.
doctor.
Oh,
That's the difference.
That's why
psychiatrist.
psychiatrists.
That's what
Hold
I
on,
was wondering. Okay.
psychiatrists have a doctorate in medicine. That's why
Yes.
they can. You
That's
have
what I
to
was
have
curious.
a
Yeah, I
doctorate in
couldn't
medicine.
remember which one.
Yeah. But it's it's a good question, but he doesn't take advantage of her. And it's a good thing he gets her on the Thorazine.
Psychiatrist then,
Only
yeah,
because
so.
she was possessed.
Right.
And you can
I love
totally
it. I
see
love it.
Peter Venkman becoming a psychiatrist just so he could learn how to
Exactly.
Well,
shrink
you
women,
know he's
basically.
torn, though, Tom, because he kind of goes, "Yeah, well, oh no, I can't. No, I can't." Because it's almost like he's tempted. Like,
Well, he
maybe I
clearly
could.
is, but I mean, he figures out
he's
pretty
doing
quick.
he's doing the routine with the angel on one shoulder and the
Right.
devil on the other shoulder.
Yeah, he knows what's going on clearly.
Temptation,
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
okay, she was the more temptation, but at the end of the day, he makes the right call despite temptation because he obviously he sees Dana Barrett first before he sees Zool because
dropping off or
obviously he's-
picking up, one of my favorite lines. in the
Oh
movie, sorry,
yeah.
Yes.
Which the way she says it, it's been a few times.
Dropping off or picking up.
Are you the gatekeeper? I used to think when I was in middle school, he said gatekeeper, not gatekeeper. I was like, why did he say gatekeeper? I was always really confused. And dudes are like, no, dude, he's saying gatekeeper. I'm like, but it sounds like he's saying gatekeeper.
I love that. That's a good line too. You're such it's so nice to take care of that man. You're such a humanitarian. I don't think he's human.
Yes.
Yeah. Like everything is a subtle joke, and
it
like
is.
the second movie, we're not here to talk about the second, but the second one didn't have that, and this is lightning in a bottle, once in a lifetime greatness in a movie.
Do you
like
want
this.
some coffee, Mr. Tully? Do I? Yes, have some. Yes, have some.
Have some.
What? All right, dearest.
And this is where you got to start. Oh, go ahead.
Dearest for $2. How's it going, dearest? What if Oscar was Lewis's character? Check out Oscar from Sesame Street.
There's people who had that, but it doesn't line up. There's no way. Yeah. Because the movie even says 5 years later at the beginning, I think for that very reason, but yeah. And they make it very clear that, yeah, it's a different father.
Thank you, dearest, for the $2, sir. Oh, was he snorting popcorn right there? Oh, no, he's
there are people that were.
He put those pizza slice against his face.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is where you got to start watching Rick because he does such funny shit.
Yeah, go back to
in
that,
the background and in the side and stuff.
Yes,
I forgot about.
Well, not just here, but even in general, just throughout this whole bit. Like at one point, he's like sniffing Egon's arm and hand and shit. It's just hilarious. It's like just some of the weird shit that he's doing that if you're not paying attention while other things are going on.
So, do you think Rick Moranis is going to have a cameo in Frozen Empire this time? Do you think?
I don't think so.
You don't think
I don't think so.
If there's a time to do it, now's the time.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, Bill Murray is already putting off enough time for a third movie as it was because he was the holdup for the longest time with a third movie.
It seems like they're all in it quite a bit, and
I was gonna say, like this whole call out to have all the Ghostbusters, everybody they need. I have a feeling that Rick Moranis might show up near the end as the cameo because I think you guys are right. They're showing us the main cast so much that I feel like those guys. I mean, Aykroyd and Winston are probably there throughout the entire film, but Bill Murray clearly shows up about midway through. I'm sure Sigourney Weaver. I don't know if Sigourney Weaver's in it or not. I think she had said that she wasn't, but I have a feeling she said the same thing about the last one and was in a fucking cameo.
Yeah.
So
at least even if she doesn't show up, at least she was in Afterlife.
I think she'll be there with Bill Murray, but she'll just kind of hang off to the side. And then I think, because I'm not even sure, there's got to be at some point where Oscar might be part of the gang too. Because that's the whole thing. It's like everybody's a Ghostbuster now, and we may even see. Because we already know that we got Janine in a suit, so we may even see Sigourney Weaver in a suit. You never know. And at that point, that's the perfect time for Rick Moranis to show up. Because the other perfect
point
makes
sense in Afterlife because it was in a whole other state for him to be there.
Well, yes and no. I had one part where I said it would have made sense to even if it was just a cameo to have him come in. And that would have been where, after Egon dies, it had been a while since they, obviously. So what you should have done is had him show up at the farm going, "I'm so sorry, I'm your father's lawyer. I didn't mean to take so long, but I lost this. It fell between the seat of the car, and I sold it to another guy, and he brought it back to me. So here you go. This is a deed to your father's house. Sorry it took so long." You know, something like that. You know what I mean? Like a whole long ass explanation of why it took him so long to get you know what I mean? Like, yeah. And that's really all you needed out of him at that point, because you're right. At that point, that's about all he could play in that movie as far as a role. In this film, I think there's a lot more reasons they could just pull him in for whatever reason. Yeah. At the end, when they put the call out to all the Ghostbusters, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
You remember when he unfortunately got attacked in New York City too a few years ago?
Yeah.
Too.
Yes.
And that's why I thought he was going to be in the movie, because he was in New York around the same time, but that just didn't line up. But I think he lives there now.
Yes, SOB
he does.
So there's a good chance he might pop in the movie somewhere. You never know. They've been kind of quiet about it. I don't know if they've been asked about it much. So I'd have to go look.
Yeah, this is William Atherton's great shining moment here of toxicity.
And this is where the movie
you could have it your way, Dr. Venkman.
Of the movie, because the government fucks it all up.
Right.
Don't tell me how to do my job, Pennsylvania.
The rest of this movie wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. If you listen to that again, you could shoot him. Don't tell me how to do my job, Pennsylvania. I mean, yeah, the EPA guy talking to a New York City cop.
And that's
the
why
poor guy from the power company, Con Ed. Oh, like
That's-
I've never seen anything like this before.
That to me is why he's a
And he looks like he's
villain.
gonna shit his pants.
He didn't stop to think, okay, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm not for what these guys are doing, but what if they are serious about this? Is it worth taking that chance at the expense of the city? Is that worth taking that chance? He should.
Well, and that's what makes William Atherton's character actually wrong, even though he's right in every other instance, right? Like, he has every right to be asking these guys, "What the fuck are you doing?" Because this is
right.
Like, this is pretty crazy shit you got going on here, and of course, nobody's going to believe in, especially an EPA guy like that's not going to believe in real ghosts. But so that means, and it was Bill Murray's fault for not just fucking letting him see the shit to begin with. But
yeah. Because you couldn't trust a guy like that. He sees how this guy's acting. He's like, okay, I don't trust this stuff in his hands. Whereas Venkman and Ray and all them, they have this stuff. They have experience now with this at the time. You're putting that stuff into rookie hands, beyond rookie hands.
Right. This actually is art predicting the future, because if you remember the pollution of the Animus River from the Gold King mine, the EPA was trying to figure out how to pump very polluted water with heavy metals in it out of this mining, I think Colorado. And they destroyed the plug at the mine entrance, and the water drained out of the mine into the river.
They effed it all up big time.
It was and nobody, not one person was ever punished, as far as we know, from the EPA for that incredible screw up. So this rings perfectly true to me.
I've worked in the private sector. They expect results.
Yeah, right.
You think if you did that for a private sector company, you'd still have your job? It's like, no.
You'd be in jail. The EPA would make an example of you, but they would never make an example of one of theirs.
Nope. That's a thing.
Sign all right of going out of business.
That was a great line from Janine. Really good line. Yeah. And it's pretty much the beginning.
I just love about this movie. It just shows you how mature people were back then. Do you realize how young these guys were when they made this movie?
Oh yeah. Dude. We're talking about when we were rewatching.
They're in their fucking 30s and shit.
Yeah. The oldest one, our Spangler, is the oldest.
Shit, what's her face is Annie Potts might actually be in her late 20s. I was thinking that was what really said. I'm like, Jesus Christ, she is so young. Like, look at her. Like, she is, but the way she walks, talks, carries herself. You're like, nowadays kids don't even at that age. And it's like crazy how
unfortunate.
By the way, guys, I want to let you know that's Joe Cirillo. He's an actual NYPD cop.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Hasn't he been in a few movies?
20 years. Yeah, he was in FX, as I remember, too. Playing a cop.
Yeah, I was gonna say he usually plays a cop. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some other
So-
movie
Yeah,
I swear he's been in too, like 48 Hours or something like that. I'm trying to remember.
If Ramus
hold on,
was
give me a
still-
sec. I'll look it up.
Go ahead. If Ramus was still alive, he would have been the oldest one by age. Other than that, the only one, the second oldest was Ernie Hudson by 1 year. But then if you look nowadays, Ernie Hudson may be a lot older by age than Murray
But
and
Black
Aykroyd.
don't crack. That's why.
But yeah, thank you. You beat me to a punch. Black don't crack, and Hudson looks 10 years younger than both of them. Like, man, Hudson is the oldest, but he looks the best still by a landslide, too.
Yeah.
Well, Ernie's always been very fit.
Murray
Sorry,
looks like he's been reliving Groundhog Day for a few
Well,
years.
Ernie
now.
Hudson is very fit too. He always has been. I mean, even here,
Yes.
you know, I mean, yeah, you can tell he's
Oh, yeah.
bodybuilder.
No,
Not
you could.
bodybuilder, but I mean, he definitely works out and shit. Yeah.
I hung out with him. There's a funny story I share with people. When Zoe was
you share.
Zoe and I were on the elevator with him, and he sat across from me at a convention. I was in artist row, and he was right across from me as a special guest. And but we were in the elevator. My daughter is like clinging to me when he's in the elevator, and he's there with a woman that I'm assuming was his wife. And I said, I just looked at him and I said, Mr. Hudson, just want to let you know, I'm sorry to your wife, but my daughter wants to marry you when she's legally of age. And she just about lost her fucking mind. She's like, Dad, because she had a crush on him. It was funny.
Uh-huh.
But Splash is the other big movie that he was in, Tom.
Okay, that's it. Yep. I knew it was some comedy like that. Yeah.
He always plays a cop. Like he was in Two of a Kind, Death Wish 3. I mean, he's in a lot of stuff, dude. He's even on SNL.
I love how Ernie's like throwing him under the bus there. He's like, I don't even work. I just work with these guys. I ain't even there.
Yeah. I
They don't
forgot.
build them like they used to. No, they never built them like this.
I forgot until more recently as well about the court scene.
The
I'm
architect
like,
was
no.
either a genius or a certified wacko.
Yep.
It's always an either or.
Yep.
So you better
How
look
about
out.
both? I'm going to go with both.
Yeah. Embrace the healing power of both.
Well, she's not my girlfriend. Poor guy.
She sleeps
4
above the covers.
feet
4 feet above the covers. She barks. She drools.
I love how multiple times in the film he calls her our client.
Well, they need the money right before that's their
She
first
was their
customer, right?
first. Yeah,
It's
she
not
was
the
their
only
first
time he
customer,
does
yeah.
it. Like I think 3 times he
Yeah.
calls her client. in
But
the
then they
film.
hit it big, and then she's willing to. If you notice too, she's pretty toxic. She doesn't want to give Dr. Venkman the time of day until he's
She likes the chase.
powerful and famous. Yeah, right.
It's the pursuit. It often is.
Well, not only that, he's below her status, right? Until
Yeah, she's a mucky muck at an
She's
orchestra,
like
right?
guy who acts weird, is obsessed with the supernatural, really weird hair. He's awfully charismatic. So yeah, she's definitely got some.
he's got the bad boy thing going, and that's that helps.
What's he say? He's more like a car salesman. What's the line?
Yeah,
He's
she
like,
calls him a used car salesman. Yeah,
salesman, right? Yeah, yeah.
Or game show
or game
host.
show host. That's
Game show host says a game show host. Yeah, yeah.
which
Well,
is
he's
I
like
mean,
a carnival
obvious.
barker.
which is
Good.
in the sequel. He almost was going to be a game show host, but they went with the show and the other show instead. But yeah,
Oh, the talk show. Yeah.
Man, they both looked like they had
I mean-
a good party in like a frat movie. Seriously, I had the key master. I had the gatekeeper. I remember laughing
It's
when
such
I
a wonderful
Yeah.
gag, though, Nick, that they put
Yeah.
in there that he keeps locking himself out of his apartment and he's the key master.
well, and the whole thing is a metaphor for sex too. That's what I love, and I didn't figure out
Yeah.
until a little bit later
The
in
key
life.
goes in the hole. Yeah.
And he finally,
Right.
Let me
he
show
finally
you again.
gets-
The
That's
gate,
how it works.
The gate that opens up.
See,
Yeah,
Tom?
yeah.
That's
the
how it
gate,
works.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
He
you know
opened her
Venkman.
gate.
You know Venkman doesn't. The thing about Venkman's character is I can't find anywhere in this movie where he actually believes this stuff until they're
he
literally
doesn't.
facing Gozer, and then he becomes all
Save that for
bravado.
later, Mark.
Yeah, but like where do these stairs go?
That
They
was
go up,
me.
and then
him.
you go ahead. I'll go last.
Oh man,
It's because he also knows the shit's about to hit the fan. I mean, he believed in ghosts before that, but I mean, he's the one who had the worst of it, right? He got slimed, so he knows that for the most part they're harmless. They just are disturbing.
Right,
Tom,
That's
there are
true.
3
This
quotes
man
from this
has no
film
dick.
that I use in my real life since I was a teenager when I saw it.
Yes.
This is one of them.
I think we need to play that again.
Of course.
Yeah, cats and dogs.
It's fine with our system until the power grid was shut off by Dickless here.
Is this true? Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
And the movie theater, everyone was laughing for so long, you couldn't hear the dialogue for like another minute. Or
Oh
so.
yeah.
But Winston completes her. He's like, Your Honor, I've only been with the company for a couple of weeks, but these things are real. And since I joined them, I've seen shit that'll turn you white.
White.
What I also love is like,
I've told people I'll send them a fruit basket so many times. But
again, you've been talking about him being the guy they let talk. He gives the speech of his career to the mayor.
Yeah, yep.
When the mayor says,
"Save the lives
of millions of registered voters," and they cut to the Monsignor, and he's got a smile on his face, and he's nodding, and such to say, "You figured it out, kid."
Lenny, when he calls him Lenny. And he look at the look on his face. He's like, "You dare call me Lenny?" And then all of a sudden, yeah, then you're right. Then he leads into the car sale.
Yep.
Those eyes,
and he says, "Get him out of here. I'm gonna miss him."
Yes.
Oh, dude.
But I love that they're like going like, "Explain this." Like the fucking 12th precinct walls were bleeding and shit like that.
Right. How much more do you need to be convinced that what you're saying out there right now isn't real? How much more convincing for real?
Now, of course, the church won't comment on this publicly, but I think it's a sign from God.
Dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria.
Yes. That's a line I've used.
I love that. I use that, all the time.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Someone imperfect doesn't.
I want to run some gynecological tests on the mother. Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
But what if you're wrong? Here it is.
I'm wrong, and nothing happens. We go to jail peacefully, quietly. We can stop this thing.
Yeah.
Lenny.
That's a hell of a negotiation. That's when you prove that you are so sure. Like, hey, if we're so sure that we're willing to put it all on the line. And that's when you realize, okay, well, what's the worst that can happen? And yeah, he
got a
made
date with a ghost.
Happens.
Yeah, and what he's selling to the mayor is, you got no downside here, Your Honor.
Yeah, no matter what.
If we're wrong, nothing happens to you. If we're right, and we can stop this thing.
Yeah, it's a win-win for him because he lets him go. He saves the city. If he obviously is wrong, well, then he gets to put in jail. There's literally nothing he doesn't gain from this.
There's the smile.
That's negotiation tactics 101.
Yep.
And here we go. Here's the. I'll play the clip in one of the clips, but here.
These things are real. Since I joined these men, I have seen shit that'll turn you white.
I love Dan Aykroyd in that shot too. There, that was good.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Let's run some red lights.
Yeah. I mean, this movie just keeps getting better and better too. It's like so I could basically clip the whole GD movie.
Saving the day.
Like again, you're talking about throwaway lines that when they first arrive in the 12th floor of the hotel, Aykroyd says we should split up, and and Venkman says, yeah, we can do more damage that way.
Yeah, I love that.
Right? What was the budget for this? Like 25, 30 million?
It started in like the 15 to 18 million dollar range, but they ended up having to spend a little bit more in the end to finish it up. So I think it ended up being somewhere between 22 and 25, and then with
22, 25. Because I wasn't
somewhere in
sure
there, and then with advertising, because it was Sony, or I keep saying Sony, it was Columbia's most expensive film at that time, from my memory. So yeah.
Okay.
For a comedy, they thought they were insane. They're like, this is
for a comedy. For a comedy. Yeah.
Like here's a crazy line too that you might not catch unless you watch the movie 50 times.
Listen.
Do you smell something?
I always love that.
Listen, do you smell something?
Smell something? Come on.
Yeah, if you look closely, you can find Ron Jeremy in the crowd here at some point.
Oh,
Are you
no.
serious? I think you're
Yeah, I'm
joking
dead
earlier.
serious. Yeah,
It was
no,
a
he's
standout performance.
One of the
he's in the crowd
actors
somewhere.
One of the actors went to high school with Ron Jeremy and a future CIA director. So that may be why Ron Jeremy showed up, because somebody he knew from school was in the production. And I can't remember which person it was. I saw it earlier today, and now I can't find it again. Damn it!
So
Spielberg
Matthew
Clouds,
is a great
Industrial Light
comment.
and Magic used a pneumatic tank with ink and dyes and would swirl it into the water, and they'd film through the glass to create
Just like they
those
did
undulating clouds. Close
for
Encounters
Raiders
was the
and
first
Close
one.
Encounters, yep.
Close Encounters was first, Raiders, and then this film.
Yeah, you had a lot of the same guys working on here, and they actually created their own effects company for this, because this was right after Return of the Jedi.
Guys who
You had
quit
a bunch of the
Industrial Light and
guys.
Magic.
Yep.
That's right.
Thank you. Yeah, I was just gonna say, quit Industrial Light and Magic, and they went and made Boss Films.
And
this
then
was their
they
first
turned
film
around
worked
and
on.
used some of the stuff from this that wasn't used for
In
Fright Night.
Fright Night. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there
So
was a
Meth-
different version of the librarian that was deemed too scary. So that's actually what's on the cover of Fright Night. Actually, my understanding.
Ah, yeah.
No, it was one of the other creatures. I can't remember now what it was, but yeah.
Well,
Something.
it was the big giant bat, and they reworked
Was
it
that
to
it?
be the vampire.
Yeah, something like that's what it was. Yeah.
And it is on the poster.
Okay, yeah, I couldn't remember.
Did any of you guys notice this in Afterlife? Because I did not. When Matthew wrote here, I love how in Afterlife they restored the deleted part of the scene where Janine gives.
Yeah, it's after
Egon
the end
her
of the
Egon's
movie.
full fair coin,
Yep.
and then she still has it when she visits. Man, I did not. Wow, I'm gonna have to rewatch Afterlife. I mean, I was intending to anyways, but maybe when I come back before I see Frozen Empire, that definitely speeds up the process of that, because so when they go up the stairs,
We're definitely in the teens somewhere. Let me know when we get to 20. I'm gonna throw up.
There's no elevator. There's no elevator in this building. Like there's no elevator.
After what happened to this building, I wouldn't.
It wouldn't
take the
work.
elevator.
Yeah, it wouldn't work.
Yeah,
It'd be
that's
shut down.
true.
Massive explosion, right?
That's
Not to
true.
mention
They
all the
have
other
to
stuff that
manually.
just happened,
All
yeah.
right.
Okay, so here's that right there. Pause it. Back up.
Oh, sorry. Yep.
To the temple, please. Yes.
All right here. Yep.
Take a look at that.
Look at that shaft.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah, it does.
That is
That's
a
great
huge
practical
set.
effects.
Yep.
And they said the set when they built this too on the interior was, one of the biggest sets ever. They spent a fortune on this temple on the inside, and that's why it looks so good too.
They also built it miniature.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Here you have.
Of course, Tom.
Plate you just saw on screen again, Gary.
my
sent this to
God.
me. And this is from the original mold.
Gary and Brosia.
You got the two Yep, you got the two terror dogs on the end. You got the pyramid.
Sweet.
Everything. Yep.
That's
Gozer
amazing.
there.
Dude.
Man, you're strong to lift up that whole wall of that temple like that.
But yeah, so look at it. And as you said, full size, and they also have the miniature version of it. And this is from the miniature version.
Dude.
So
Yeah,
there you go. Right there.
Yeah, Max, man. He does have the cool stuff.
When people come over to your house, you got to have like you win a prize if you can tell me what this is from, right? Or yeah.
Oh man,
Most normal people wouldn't get that, but yeah, that's awesome.
That's incredible. Between the cards that you got from Gary and Brosia and the fact that you got that, seriously, like I didn't even know they like those things were. I obviously don't want.
Well, he actually sent me a couple other things too. He sent me.
Oh, jeez, he sent you more.
Well, this is he redid Slimer because he had like I don't remember if he had the mold. I think he had the mold for the main part of Slimer for a small miniature version.
Yeah.
So the green stuff that he used, he sent me some of the green stuff. So I've got Slimer slime. And then also he sent me
Speaking
a
of
piece.
Slimer, Tom.
He sent me a piece of Bates Motel while he was at it too.
Nice.
What a
Love
pal.
it.
It's actually a nice
right,
piece too. It's a corner piece, yeah.
Would you go into the whole gag behind it supposedly looked like John Belushi, but in reality they didn't?
Well,
lied.
here was the thing. It's kind of a funny story. Like they had Slimer's original name was Onion Head. That's what they called him because he looked like an onion.
Head.
Yeah, in the comic,
Yep.
or in the comics, Christ, in the original screenplay, I think he was just notated as Green Ghost. And then when they actually designed him, it looked like an onion. But Dan said he didn't like the original look; it looked too scary. He said, "Why don't you make it look softer, a little bit more like John?" Because he goes, "This character's kind of the spirit of John, anyway." And so they tweaked it a little bit, but they didn't make it look like John as far as they were concerned. But Chris Walas actually worked on that, and I believe the Terror Dogs. And Chris Walas, if you probably don't recognize the name, but you'd recognize his work. He also designed the Gremlins, same year, and also the dragons from the baby dragons from Dragon Slayer as well. Anyway, moving on, like they just changed the face up a little bit. And he come in and he loved it, but they're like, yeah, we didn't try to make it look like John or anything like that. It was
subtle,
just, just subtle changes. They made it look more cartoony instead of being more, because there is, you can find pictures out there. There's a more angrier looking version of it, but it's a little hard to find. But like, yeah, I'm sure you can come across it if you look hard enough. But yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I got a couple more clips to catch up here. Yep.
Yeah.
The city is headed for a disaster of biblical proportion.
What do you mean?
Yeah, real
biblical?
wrath
What do you
of
mean
God
this
type
Old
stuff.
Testament, Mr. Mayor? Real wrath of God type stuff.
Real wrath of God type stuff.
Real, it's that's just a Monday afternoon for me. Real wrath of God type of stuff.
I do kind of look like Slimer, don't I?
Yep. And then the next part of that, here, let me get the slideshow going again. But here.
Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies. Rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes.
The dead rising from the grave.
Human sacrifice. Dogs and cats
living together.
Look at Winston's face. Winston's face. No, dude, Winston's expression during that. It's just like,
this is where they're all getting in on the bit, right? Like, because they know they have to sell this shit to the mayor at this point.
Right. They're tag teaming the mayor.
So good.
Winston's face is just like, yeah, I know this shit sounds crazy, but he's right. He's right.
Yeah, as crazy as they're making it sound, they're not possibly not wrong. Which also ties back into that bit which is why I think the only reason they kept that bit in there with Dan Aykroyd and Winston coming back to town, because they have that little conversation where he's like, Ray, maybe hasn't it occurred to you that the dead have been rising from the grave, and that's why we've been so busy? Setting that whole thing up, kind of thing, like an end of days kind of whole thing. But yeah, This is an amazing bit here, because this is a mix between the miniature, which I just showed you the plate from, with them. I think those are. I don't think they're miniature characters. I think those are actually rear projections, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Mixed with all the other elements. I mean, these are some amazing effects for 1984. I don't think people realize how complicated of effect that was just in there.
I don't doubt it one bit.
This is actually up there, almost up there with what ILM had been doing from since Star Wars. This was on that level. This was the new generation of effects.
Okay, so she's a dog.
Okay, so she's a dog.
So yeah, I love the hesitation. Okay, so she's a dog. That's one thing Bill Murray is so phenomenal at. Even when he's ad-libbing, the timing is always
pretty dry
perfect.
as well. He's very dry.
Well, that's what I love about part 2 is he's the best part, right? Like all his bits.
Oh yeah.
I'll play with one of the
about
big
it in
kids?
real life, though. He walks up to some guy and eats his French fry in a restaurant.
He'll show up to weddings and shit and stuff too. Yeah.
He walks up to this guy, eats his French fry, and the guy looks at him and is just like stunned, and he goes, "No one will ever believe you."
Yes. A guy did a documentary. I saw a documentary that somebody put together of Bill Murray moments. And
doing shit like that.
Half of the documentary is footage like cell phone camera stuff, and the other half is him trying to figure out how to get a hold of Bill Murray to talk to him about it.
Call
And
that
Murray
toll-free number.
and famously has an 800 number attached only to an answering machine. And the story is that if you leave him an interesting enough message, he'll call you back. And he just tears himself up for like 5 minutes of the film trying to come up with a message. He can't do it. So finally gives up and he meets Bill Murray at a baseball game, at a baseball team that Murray has a ownership stake in. And outside the park, he gets Bill Murray to pose for a selfie with him. He said, "That's it. That was my Bill Murray moment."
That's great.
And somebody in reviewing a movie described Bill Murray as the enigma that is Bill Murray.
Well, and he is notorious, right? There, for every good story, there's a bad story.
Oh, I know.
And he's one of those guys that, I mean, you never know which Bill you're going to get. Right. Like that's kind of the old saying, you know.
Exactly.
When you get him good, you're gonna get 110%. But when you don't,
That ought to do it. Thanks,
you're
Ray.
the polar opposite.
Yes.
Ray taking the hit for the team, going up.
I just love Bill. Like, he's like, that ought to do it. Thanks, Ray. Like, it's a duly designated representative of New York.
As a duly authorized representative of the city, state, and county of New York, I hereby order you to
vacate to the nearest dimension or
parallel dimension, or
she knows exactly what all that is. She's like, "Oh yeah, I know who the chief is. You know, I know who the deputy is. The detective."
God.
Ray,
Yeah, Sheena Easton looks like crap.
Ray, when someone asks if you are God, you say yes.
Yes.
All right, this chick is toast.
I gotta clip that. Here's a clip going back a little bit, but
But if I'm right, and we can stop this thing, Lenny, you will have saved the lives of millions of registered voters.
Yeah.
I was doing it.
A++.
Okay, I got to share something here and pause. So pause the movie because
pause it. Yeah, I got to pause. Yep.
All right, so some of you, if you know the answer already, just keep quiet and see if anybody else can guess. But this was initially somebody else was going to play Gozer. It wasn't going to be a woman. Does anybody know who it was going to be?
It looks like Disney.
David
Bowie?
No, David Niven. I said.
Oh, Niven.
Pee Wee Herman?
Yep.
No way.
Originally, it was going to be Pee Wee Herman. Yes.
No.
Yep.
What?
Yep, but they changed it at the last minute because they wanted it to be a woman.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is some shit.
Wow.
Yeah, there's some more storybirds out there where you can see it, but yep.
Wow. Okay. I learned something new today. I did not know that at all. Hot damn.
Maybe that's where you get this line.
Girl.
You could have hired Elliot Page if they made it now.
Beast looks like a
all purpose.
All purpose.
Whatever it wants to be.
Man and a woman.
You know, and that's my only other disappointment about Afterlife is that they used Gozer again. I thought that was kind of cheap. They didn't have to do Go. They could have just been something else.
Is everybody that's a Gozerian called Gozer though? Because it seems a rather obvious name.
Well, there's the three characters. There's the three main characters. There's Gozer, there's Vince Clortho, and then there's the other one.
It goes with the Gozerian. I mean, it's a bit of an obvious name, really.
Well, yeah. Well, he's the leader of the Gozerians.
True.
He's very egotistical, Brian.
So no other Gozerians are called Gozer.
It'd be like if you had started a cult and called them the Bryanites.
Maybe I have.
Well, you know what I'm talking about. Then, see?
I've often made a bit of a cult of myself. That's true.
Someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes.
Yes.
A Bryanite. It sounds like something a geologist would study.
I do like to rock.
Well, Bryanites are better than the Bryanitis.
I do like to rock.
Yes. Well, yes, that's a rare tropical disease.
You guys gotta understand. I just get asked if I'm a god all the time. I was just
that
unintentional wrong answer. You know,
these two images right here of the two.
Oh, dude, yeah,
the four of them, and then up against her with the terror dogs. I mean,
she
just
does look like she's in a new wave band, the 80s new wave band.
She
though.
does.
She's got that
Yeah.
look.
The hair.
She's got that look.
No, that is one of the defining shots of the movie.
I'm surprised he didn't get like David Bowie or something. to play instead.
She does look like David Bowie.
Yeah.
She does.
Well, Ivan Reichman was saying that
Busted
the scene when
Ghost.
he gave him chills when he first saw it, like he first got the gang all together. I think this was filmed earlier in the movie, if I'm remembering the.
Yeah, a lot of the
in
stuff that was on
film, it
set was all
filmed
done
earlier.
first. Yeah.
Yeah, so he said this was the first time they're all fall together. He's like, I think we got something. Oh, and here was a clip I was trying to find before.
Gozer. I thought Gozer was a man.
It's whatever it wants to be.
It's whatever it wants to be. To they, them.
Does that make it trans?
Yes,
Very
it's they, them.
progressive movie.
It's
It's not
transdimensional.
It's non-binary, trans-dimensional.
Not toxic at all.
Gender slimy.
So Dick the Greek, $4.99. Best part was Ray getting a boo job. I'll show myself out now.
That time, I could hear you come.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a clip for that. Mark.
And add that sound
which one?
effect.
I hear this time I heard you coming.
Well,
He's looking for it now. Mark's looking for it.
I'm looking for it.
Gary came
I'm
on.
in the middle of clipping something else. I'm on Premiere, so yeah.
Oh, I'm just glad that Gary came on this panel.
Well, you know me. I'm Captain Inappropriate. I'll say the fucked up thing.
He comes on a
that
lot of stuff,
everybody's
not just
thinking.
this panel.
You're giving yourself a promotion. I thought you were only Sergeant Inappropriate.
No, I went to OCS.
Go ahead, resume it, Mark.
You guys know what that means.
it.
It's military
Okay.
for
Yes.
officers candidate school.
Mhm. Got your stick? Oh, I'm holding my stick. I'll believe that. Smoke it. And you know what? The vice throughout this movie was all about don't cross the streams. Oh, hold on. No, we have a marshmallow guy. I just read.
Okay.
Wait a minute. You said the crossing the streams was bad.
We did, but we got
so
a marshmallow man, and
You're gonna endanger us. You're gonna endanger our client. The nice lady who paid us in advance before she turned into a dog.
you want to talk about blowing my mind as a kid? I was like freaking jolly as a freaking pig covered in fucking wet.
Nice knowing you, Ray.
Seeing a freaking giant marshmallow man on screen. I think I had a plushie. I think I had a giant plushie of him when I was a kid. I think. I can't remember
See
if I
on
did.
the other side.
Did it skip over the marshmallow man?
No, I should have. No, he should be coming. Let's see.
I was gonna say at least one or two shots.
Oh, this is the flat top.
Yeah, you know,
bit.
That's what
yeah.
he said.
It's after that. It's after this. Yeah.
Make them hard.
And by the
Aim for the
way, when
flat
it comes to the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, I want that in my butt.
I know you do. It's
Isn't it too soft? Isn't it too soft?
I told you I
Oh,
was
it's
saving it, Nick.
Soft.
Oh,
Let's show this prehistoric bitch
Historic
how we
bitch.
do things downtown.
Downtown. Yeah.
that's
I
gonna
love
be
that.
Nobody
really-
steps on a church in my town.
That's gonna be a really
Yeah.
shitty mess, Gary. All
And
that
by the way,
white
there is a
stuff.
church right next to that building.
It is. Oh yeah, that's
Yes.
well. The only difference is the building. It doesn't have the top 3 stories that are added
Yeah,
for the movie.
That's done
And what's
through matte
fun
painting.
is that that's destroyed. So I mean, the building's still there. So like, you know, since the destruction of Gozer, it doesn't have the top 3 floors anymore.
Right.
That's what I tell people.
Nimble
this is
little
what happened
minx.
after Ghostbusters. It you know,
Gozer came in and fucked shit up.
took
It's
top
a
of
true
the building.
story.
I love the
No,
Disney
it's not.
screams.
No, they didn't have the 3 stories there. They just added them.
Well,
And that's not far from where what's the space the Green Goblin lives too, isn't it? If I'm not mistaken.
Oh, in the first Toby Spider-Man.
Yeah, like the real
Uh-huh.
place.
He's
If I'm
right
not
off Central
mistaken.
Park. Yeah,
Yeah, he's right off Central Park, so yeah.
That has to be very close.
And I think that
you're
building
right.
is somewhere to the around that vicinity that we're near this building, yeah, to my
Mhm.
understanding or memory.
Man. This
Got to go on a Ghostbusters building tour.
Yeah, it'd be
right.
cool.
Ghostbusters building too.
That's where the Green Goblin lives. Actually, a
Yeah.
lot of movies have shown that building too. I can't remember which address it is, but yeah.
I'm surprised you don't know the address of it. Actually, you know, with how many of the flicks you've seen.
Yeah, it's a few blocks away, says Matthew. Yeah, I knew it wasn't too far away. Yeah.
Maybe Matt's
I
been
think
to
even in one
Europe
of the
or
sky shots, if I'm not mistaken, you could even see the top of this building from
Mm-hmm,
the view. But yeah, you got to know what it looks like without the shit on it. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
This chick is toast.
Oh, I love that music for that scene.
Yeah.
And of course, this is a dual level surrounding set behind them. They have, of course, farther back is just plain images, you know, of New York. And then they actually have 3D built buildings that are closer by. So it's a pretty elaborate set they got there.
It's
forced perspective. Yeah.
Yeah. And once again, they were working with what the best they had at that point in time. This was the cream of
looks
the crop,
great.
as the Macho Man likes to say. And there's a lot of parts in here that still do look great. It's like, yeah, okay, certain shots don't look as well, but the stuff that still looks good, it still looks really good. And there's still a lot of things that still look better than that look, well, way better than now, especially with how overblown CGI has become. Like, yeah, that's unfortunate because CGI seems like for the most part, especially from the last 5, 7, 8 years, it feels like a lot of the CG in these movies have aged not aged well in terms of CG.
Well, this isn't CG. They didn't have CG back then.
Well, no, I'm talking about movies of the last.
Oh, you mean modern age? Oh, yeah, CG.
Yeah, I'm talking about in comparison.
CG looks like shit.
Yeah, like a lot of it
still does. CG is so bad. Yeah.
Obviously, you know, like when you look at the CG, like the first Jurassic Park, it aged beautifully. But then you watch a lot of movies from the last 7, 8 years, and it did. But then you watch a movie like Ghostbusters, which obviously I know isn't CG, but a lot of the stuff on here, not everything, but more stuff than not, has aged well in this movie. That's what I'm getting at.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, no.
Oh no, you're good, man. You're good. You're good.
No, even Jurassic Park
good.
people
He's
misinterpret
great.
because a lot of people think they're seeing CGI sometimes when they're not. Because believe it or not, there's only 52 shots in Jurassic Park that are actually CGI. The rest are all actual in-camera stuff.
Used as an enhancement then. So it was used.
Well, it's just like the full. Anytime you see a full shot of the T-Rex walking, that's CGI. Full shot of the raptors walking, that's CGI. Full shot of the brontosauruses rocking, that's a CGI. But like when you have like the shots of the raptors in the kitchen where you just see their feet, that's a dude with fucking boots on, yeah. And the head swinging around and some of the stuff. Them are the Stan Winston animatronics. The shot where the T-Rex has his foot on the car and is howling. That's a full on animatronic T-Rex, full size. They use that in quite a few shots too. As long as it's not mobile, they used animatronics. All the Triceratops or not? Yeah, Triceratops.
That dying dinosaur.
Yeah, that's full on. Yeah,
they used it where they absolutely had to. Where they were like, okay, there's
the Gallimimuses was another shot. Yeah,
there's no way that we can capably make a physical thing out of this. We have to do CG here.
Well, it's just funny because you compare it because like literally. There's only 52 shots in the first Jurassic Park compared to the last Jurassic Park, which had like literally over 2,500 CGI shots.
Holy shit.
And I'm not even exaggerating.
And the shots when you mentioned about like T-Rex, a lot of that still does look better. I've watched it within the last year and it looks great. I'm not even just talking about, as you mentioned, like the Velociraptor at the feet, and that, was it like a boiler room or something? I'm talking about when you actually see the thing running around, chasing, like in the T-Rex, they look great. Jurassic Park 1 looks great still.
I can't find any of the JPs to compare it to, but here I found Avengers, for instance, from 2012 has 2,200 CGI shots.
Holy shit.
See, now here's a confliction. This one says there's 10 more CGI shots than I know of. As far as I knew, it was only 52. They got 63 here. I don't know about that. I think it's only 52. So I'm pretty sure that's what they say in the making of. Because like they use it as sparingly as possible, like you said, Nick, because they didn't know half the time how it was going to work because it was the first time they ever did it.
Yeah, it was unfamiliar territory, and it was not something you want to get rely on because one, you don't know this type of technology, and if you get over reliant quick on something you don't know, it could turn out for the worst. But they really got cocky with it really quickly over time, and they got so over reliant. We saw the early stages of over reliance when it came to, let's just say, the prequel trilogy. I will not forget that.
I'm supposed to shut up and look at the Marshmallow Man.
Yeah,
Well, I just
no,
wanted
well,
to-
it's
and
a
also look how good it looks too. That's
Oh,
model work.
The traveler has come. Choose and perish.
Everyone was
What do
supposed
you
to
mean choose?
Everyone was supposed to clear
We
their
didn't
minds
choose.
except Raymond. He just
Oh, so
couldn't help
so
I
himself.
emptied my mind.
it'll show up and kill us. So if we think of J. Edgar Hoover, J. Edgar Hoover will take us out. So everybody clear your mind.
Now, by
J. Edgar
saying
Hoover in
J.
a
Edgar
dress.
Hoover, he thought
In a
of
dress.
J. Edgar Hoover, right?
It just popped in there.
I didn't
What
think of anything. Did
popped
you?
in
I didn't
there,
think of
Ray?
anything. You? No.
I thought the most harmless thing from our childhood. Someone who could never hurt us.
It's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
No, I was in the UK when this movie came out, and I thought maybe there was a Stay Puft Marshmallow product, but it isn't, is there?
No.
It was just made
it's-
up for the movie.
He's kind of that's what I said. It's what's the beauty of the world building, right? Because you have just a
Yeah.
few spots where they just kind of toss them in there, so you kind of have an idea what it is. But I mean, it might as well have been Bugs Bunny, right? Like that's kind of the joke. Is that Ray picks something that's supposed to be cute and adorable, and then it comes out to kill them? Like that's that's the whole fucking joke, right?
It wasn't
Like,
a real product, yeah.
but yeah, so to just
Yeah,
to
but
avoid
I
that,
felt
and he's kind of a mix between the Michelin Man and the Pillsbury Doughboy.
Yeah, it kind of seemed
Oh,
like
I could see
Pillsbury
both.
Doughboy is who I thought of. when I
Yes.
first
Speaking
saw it, yeah.
of the Michelin Man, did you know? I'm gonna go Morpheus style on here. Did you know that the Michelin Man has an actual name?
Oh, I didn't.
His name
Derek?
is Bip.
Bip?
BIP.
I thought it'd be Mitch or something like that.
I got it's not
It's
Todd.
Michelin Man. Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah, no,
It-
obviously the biggest influence being the
Should have-
Pillsbury Doughboy.
It should have
but
been
yeah.
Michelin Man should be Tyrone.
No.
And you understand that the Michelin Star
Tyrone, yeah.
program for
Wow.
restaurants comes from Michelin tires as well.
Tire.
Nobody steps on a church in my
I'm
town.
going to copyright that.
That reminds me
Did
of
you
my
know that, Nick?
awful 4 a.m. joke. No, what?
That the Michelin stars for restaurants comes from Michelin tires.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I
Because
did know that.
one star meant that it was driving to. 1 star meant that it was worth 2 stars meant that it was worth detouring for, and 3 stars meant that it was worth making a special trip just to go there to eat.
I thought
And
maybe
they
it was
figured
something
that
to
would
do-
cause people to put more wear on their tires and then have to
Yeah.
buy more tires.
It wasn't anything to do with the food tasting like rubber.
There you
No.
go, guys. The new movie. Stay Puft Marshmallows are back. Go to your store and go get them.
1, 2, 3, roast them.
Oh, yeah. It was a short-lived but dazzling moment of that marshmallow. That thing looks pretty angry as it's literally getting roasted. As it's getting he tries to climb up the building,
Mother puss bucket.
and all the marshmallow bits come down. That reminds me, like when God, what was I obsessed with at the time? What was I don't know if you guys had your same marshmallow fluffernutter. I was obsessed.
Oh, I love fluffernutters.
So when I saw
Well-
the explosion happen, all I could think of was marshmallow fluffernutter.
And
You're
the
a
Marshmallow
fluffer?
Man was one of the most expensive bits of the whole movie, besides that set that they're on right now, because the suits cost about $10,000 each, and they had 3 of them.
Well, how
And
large was that though? I mean, what's the perspective like here? How big was
they
that?
had it's 106 perspective or whatever, because so basically everything they had to find because the guy that had to fit out the miniature set was pissed because of the scale, because they decided he was going to be like 100 feet or whatever, or like 106 feet to be exact with his hat or whatever it is. So like that really caused an issue with them having to find the models that fit in that 1/6 scale or whatever it was that they were going for, or 106th scale or whatever it is. So they happened to find one model that was in the right scale. So they used that model to cannibalize all the other cars that they have. So that's why there's not very many cars in the scene with the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man when he's walking down the street outside of the clearly the ones
I
that are
wondered about
opticals.
that. Yeah.
But yeah, so the thing is they had the 3 sets of the costume, and they're expensive as fuck. Well, they had a stunt man for the scenes where they set the fucker on fire, because they literally set him on fire. Well, first night the guy did it. He fucking passed out inside the suit and damn near died because of the toxins from the fucking foam.
Oh crap!
So they tricked it out a little more, tried to do it again the second night, and the guy fucking passed out again. So they brought in a different stuntman, and this time he's like, well, yeah, here's why you guys are passing out. You got to fucking use a ventilation system.
Might help. Important safety
Yeah,
tip.
so third time charm. And then of course there was the master suit, which is the one that actually had all the animatronics in the head and all that kind of shit. But yeah, so the third time, this was it. Like, it's either we do or die on this one, because that was it. So technically they had 4 suits in quotations, but one was more or less a puppet than an actual suit. But yeah. The full animatronic one.
All right,
which
guys,
actually is pretty amazing for how good it is at the time. I mean, the expressions they got out of that Marshmallow Man are pretty good.
No, they are really good. And our boys have finally crossed the streams. They're crossing the streams, guys.
We
They
used to
they
do
had
that
to do
in,
the
are the
opposite.
tips
I was
of
gonna
the
say,
streams
and
touching?
how many guys from this day forward would piss at the same time saying they're crossing the streams?
Crossing the streams.
It's okay. He's a sailor. He's in New York. We get this guy laid, we won't have any trouble.
I remember when I was at the Vegas meetup, pissing, and I looked to the left of me, and there's Gerry, Nerdrotic, pissing, and he said, "We better not cross the streams." I'm like, I agree. We cannot cross the streams.
I love those stories. They're so good.
Could endanger us. You're going to endanger our client.
See, again, saying client. I love that he did that. But there was some stop motion animation with the face.
Yeah, there was in that one bit there, probably.
Yeah, whereas he looks up and his expression changes. They did that was the only spot.
But the other expressions, yeah. But when he's going from just the happy-go-lucky to the mad one and stuff like that, that's some great, like, that is tough for animatronics to do, because usually you have a completely different face to make a change like that. So they did a really good job.
I also love that they really did dump that on him.
Yes. Well, here's the other thing they didn't think.
It's not a stuntman, that's him.
It's shaving cream, first of all, for those who wonder.
Yes, but I want to know how big a bucket of shaving cream they poured out.
They used garbage bags. They used literally huge ass garbage bags, like industrial strength.
Yep.
And they didn't really factor in how much it would hurt.
Yeah.
To slam that much. So, like, his expression, I guess, is another one of those true expressions in the film where he's like screaming and pissing and moaning because he did not expect it to be that heavy. Because I guess the first time they did it, it knocked him on his ass. And then the second time they cut it in half. So they only used half the amount, but it was still a shit ton. He still griped about it. And that's also why Bill Murray, which is funny in this scene, the rest of the guys were all like, cover us in the shit. Bill Murray's like, don't stick that shit on me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why he's got nothing on in there, right?
Yeah. And what little he has
nah.
on is from the guys fucking with him. Like, they would take some off themselves and throw it at him and stuff like that. And he's like, God damn it, and shit like that. But yeah.
That's so
He hated getting slimed. He hated, like, that was the other thing too, is like, I don't even know how the fuck they talked him into being slimed. Because that was his rule for part 2, was no slime, no gross shit.
That's why he's not in the sewer scene.
No, he hated the uniform and the backpack, so that's why he's hardly in the uniform and has the backpack only like once or twice in the whole movie. Yeah, even though they made the backpack like 30 pounds lighter for the sequel, but yeah.
And that I lost respect for him when I found that out. I was like,
he's an actor.
I know, but he's a pussy.
It's a pussy. Take one for the team.
Bill Murray.
A lot of it, though, is I think his resistance to get into part 2, because, I mean, here's the thing. Part 2 is a whole nother animal. He did not act after this movie. See, that's why I think it's important to know that even though Razor's Edge came out after this, he did it before, and he quit for like 5 years almost. He didn't do shit. His next appearance was in Little Shop of Horrors, and that was a tiny fucking cameo.
Right.
He didn't do anything until Scrooged. People forget that it was 5 years he took between actual starring roles because he was scared to death that his next movie would not live up to Ghostbusters. And the studio kept hounding him to do Ghostbusters 2. And he did not want to follow up Ghostbusters with Ghostbusters 2. So that was his whole thing, is I want to get at least 1 or 2 movies under my belt before I do Ghostbusters 2. So he went and did Scrooged, did the cameo in Little Shop of Horrors in like 86. So that was like, 2 years before that. But then finally... he came to Ghostbusters 2, and they promised him a much different film than what ended up being made. He was promised something a little bit more darker, a little bit more in tone with the first film, a little bit more adult. The only stipulations he had besides the other stuff that I just said was that Winston got equal screen time. Because that was something that bothered him about the first film, was that not only was because him and Ernie Hudson, I guess, are pretty good friends in real life too. So like that was the thing that bothered him, was like not only to get the shaft on being in the screen, but if you notice, if you go through all this stuff back then, Ernie Hudson is left off of everything. He's not on the posters. That poster you got behind us here, he's not on. If you even get to like the kids' books, there's a couple of the kids' books where Ernie Hudson's character's left out completely. And they go out of their way to like cut him off the shots of the image so they don't have to bring him up as a character.
So he got finned? Like
he
Disney
did. Well, at that time, it was just more so because they didn't have the time to explain that in a little short kids' book.
Yeah.
But the point being is, like, at the time we noticed, and especially stuck out because he's the only black guy.
Yep.
Right.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Tom,
Absolutely.
Tom, I've got a trivia question for you, and I may be wrong about this. What is the other sequel that Bill Murray has done? I think he's only ever done 2.
Zombieland. And Garfield.
Garfield is the one I was thinking.
Oh.
Of. Garfield.
Yep.
Garfield.
Are
Yeah.
you sure about Garfield?
See, I knew there might have been another.
Coen Brothers.
In Zombieland, he's like, "Do you regret anything?" No, not really.
We'll cross the streams.
Excuse me, Egon. You said crossing the streams was
Crossing
bad.
the streams bad.
He's actually
Cross
done.
the streams.
You're going to endanger us. You're going to endanger our client, the nice lady who paid us in advance before she became a dog.
Before she became a dog. Yeah.
And before she came. Yeah.
I love this plan. I'm excited to be a part of it.
Part of it. Yeah.
I chose
I got
not
that
to
clip.
mention. I chose not to mention Mood because he wasn't
Man
in the
3.
previous movie. I mean, yeah, he was in
What
Quantumania,
did
but
you
he
do?
wasn't
Yeah,
there.
I'm thinking of a sequel of his own. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking on that technicality. Is it funny how the life advice of this movie was to not cross the streams, but when the shit gets tough, they had to cross the
You
streams.
have to break the rule, don't you?
Yeah.
I love this plan. I'm excited to be
I'm excited to be a part of it.
This job is definitely not worth another $5 a
It's
year.
another $5 a year.
That line is always used. I love this plan.
Hey,
I'm
Tom.
excited to be part of it.
Jay just asked a really good question. Would you answer that? How Arsenio Hall got pulled into play?
Oh
Winston in
yeah.
the
Okay,
cartoon?
so in the midst of so a follow-up to the shit we were talking about earlier, when they went with Deke being a cheap ass company did not want to pay for likeness rights. So that's why all the characters look different from what they look like in the movie. In fact, Bill Murray came in and said, "You got to change my character a little bit more if you're not going to pay me." Because if you notice, there's an early reel that went around that's basically the same shit that's in the intro sequence of the cartoon, but Bill Murray's character's changed quite a bit because the older version of the character looked a little too much like Bill. But anyway,
It was the same issue, by the way, with IDW with the comic.
So Ernie Hudson actually came in and auditioned for Winston in the cartoon, and they probably would have taken him, but I think they were a little too afraid of likeness rights getting in the way. Their excuse was Arsenio did a better reading, but I don't buy it. It's just like, no, you just didn't want to pay him that much more, probably. That's why. Just because if you got Winston's actual actor to, you're going to probably have to pay him for the likeness rights too. Come on.
I just wanted to mention, as it slipped by there, that the cinematography, Laszlo Kovacs, previously known for new wave type movies like Easy Rider and a lot of that stuff. He'd worked.
This
with all
movie
those-
has a much different look than the sequel, and you can tell. That's one thing I don't like.
He's a
about the
classic
sequel.
cinematographer, but not noted for this kind of movie before.
But it works for this movie, and that's my point. Is that it adds a grittiness to it. It adds a darkerness to it that's not in the sequel. The sequel's overly bright, very much in the vein of the cartoon,
bright.
and especially the cartoon of that
You're
time.
right.
So yeah.
No, you're
Oh
right.
yeah, it's got some great bits and great lines and great. I love lots of things of part 2. I'm not going to deny that, but
It's a good movie. Yeah.
it's just I think whoever said it earlier, was it Mark or Redshirt? That said the problem with Ghostbusters is Ghostbusters 2 is because it has to follow Ghostbusters 1. That's the problem. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yep.
Yup. Nah. Chat, go ahead and load off on your toxic script. If you haven't been on here if you haven't been on here in a few weeks, we are just now reading off Toxic Store, especially when now there's
one thing this movie has that the sequel has that this movie doesn't though is Janosch. Probably one of the best fucking characters in a movie ever. Where the hell is that guy from? Where are you from anyway? The Upper West Side?
And Slimer's back. Yeah. I don't know if I played this clip.
Show this prehistoric bitch how we do things downtown.
Now that was another ad lib, as I recall, wasn't it, Tom?
It was.
I believe so. The flat top line, though, I think was actually in the script, and that was in reference to Pee Wee Herman, though, because she doesn't technically actually have a flat top. She has more of a flare, feathered kind of thing. But
yeah, it's like
it's a Sheena Easton look from the early '80s.
Yeah, very Sheena Easton looking.
Yeah.
Actually, Grace Jones was another person they were thinking about getting before.
Oh, yeah, she would have been great.
That's why they went that direction, because they were like, okay, Grace Jones, she's more alien-like looking and all that kind of stuff. But then when they couldn't get a deal with her, because I believe she was shooting Conan at the time, they got this chick who I can't remember her name, but she actually just passed away not too long ago. And yeah, she was like a model or whatever. But yeah.
Not necessarily. There's definitely a very slim chance we'll survive.
He knew just how to say that though, too, right? Because if he knew if he actually gave him the actual odds, Bill would be like, "Fuck you." This is probably 100,000,000.167 thousand. You know what I mean? Like,
is doing his best, Mr. Spock. Not
yeah, exactly. He's doing his best point at that point, not to be Mr. Spock. Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark, I sent you another graphic that you need to share too, because.
But here we got these. I know we haven't shown these yet, but this is
that's the poster. Tom was on there. He's on there. R&B's on there. I'm at the bottom. But this was the sketch. I just started painting it, but I was so excited that he agreed for me to put Indiana Jones and the Ghostbusters on there.
And I love that you have Johnny 5 in there too.
Yeah, Johnny 5 is alive. And I put the Spinner and the Gremlin down by me. But that was a fun poster.
Is alive.
Yeah, I haven't introduced.
we got to do a short circuit one of these days.
Gotta do it, dude. Gotta do it. I'm going to introduce Anima to it because she's never seen it. So I've been saving it for one of those special nights where we get to watch a movie. But also, I just sent a graphic. My daughter was officially commissioned by IDW for the official Ghostbusters comic to do a pinup. And I just sent it to Mark.
Let me get it up.
In one of the comics from.
Did I just say, let me get it up?
Oh, let's get it up. All right. I love that you included that. You're about my daughter. That's awesome.
That's why I didn't make the joke.
You're such a bad influence. Christ.
All right.
But
confession this week.
It's also the graphic. I just redid the background. That's Tom's avatar.
Well, knowing how old Gerry is, his daughter could be 40.
My son is 42. And my youngest is Zoe, and she's 24 this year.
Well, that makes it less funny. Thanks, Gerry.
Oh, you're welcome. Man, I've been going since I was a teenager, dude. I make babies.
I'm gonna try to blaze through. I want to blaze through these scores because I want to get to our.
You got to catch a plane.
There it is.
I got tax.
Oh, you got to put the word.
I got a plane to catch.
Subtitle down. Put the banner down.
Brian Barth for 10,
so they can see what he's doing.
Oh yeah, let's put a hold on because I do got to blaze through this.
Yeah,
I do got a plane. Literally, I do got a plane to catch.
Okay.
Matthew Marzillo, perfect 10 out of 100 for completely toxicity. Mail crossing the stream, saving the day. RJ Godzilla, 2 for toxicity. Normie the Navi, Cavatino, 1.21. Jake wants the toxicity. I see what you did. Darth Viewer, toxicity 2. Vince Womack, toxicity is pretty tame. 3. Mecca J, 3 out of 10 toxic. Vulcan Lives, toxicity 2, and you can read his great comment there. And then Soul Santa 10 Twinkies. Your Muslim uncle with the member for 1 month says this itch is this bitch is toast. Thanks, man. Thank you, Davina Duckworth. Appreciate it. All right, there you go. Ooh, that is not help.
Zoe 12 years old. 12 when she was
Dude.
commissioned by IDW, and she's
That's
really
awesome.
doing well doing artwork today.
Oh,
great.
that's amazing.
All my
Very
kids are
talented.
artists.
They get it from the dad. What can we say? They get it from the dad.
My sperm is good.
Mephisto.
And I am proud of her for doing that.
Yeah,
In other words, that's the only way we do know she's your kid.
Ah.
Every sperm is sacred.
No, if you see her, you know she's my kid. She looks
I
like
know.
me, but is beautiful for some weird reason. I don't get it.
That's a good thing. Dearest, toxicity 6 out of 10. Slime. All right. We'll start off with Mark D with a C. Sir, tell us about your toxicity or lack thereof with this movie. We have already pretty much gone over why we enjoy it, so we don't need to
No,
go off that again.
We'll make it quick. And I know, Nick, you've got to get to you got a plane to catch. So
I gotta wake up
my
in
camera got
3
knocked.
hours.
3 hours. Holy shit, Batman. But yeah, this movie is extremely toxic. I mean, Christ, how are you menstruating? You got all these clips here that are, the whole thing with Dana, and yeah, it's just one of those movies where it is politically incorrect, right? They ain't getting it done today. So yeah, if you have problems, call the Ghostbusters. So there's my 3D printed sign again. So look, Gary, I actually painted this too.
It looks really good, dude. I like the gloss you used on it too. It's nice and reflective.
There we go. But yeah, this is one of the all-time great movies.
How much would it cost for me to get one of those, Mark?
Just pay for shipping. I'll get you one. I'll send it.
I'll
to
be
you.
in
Give me your
touch.
address. I'll send you one.
How much is the shipping? Do you think? Because I'm in Missouri.
Oh, I'll just $10 maybe. No, I'll just send you one. Don't what you crazy? Just
I'll
give
be
me
in
your
touch,
address.
Mark.
I
Yeah,
want
just,
one.
if you guys want one, just send me your address. I'll send you one. No, on me. I'm not going to charge friends for shipping. What kind of dick is that? But
this man has no dick.
Well, I don't know. You are a Mark with a big D, so
yeah.
Anyway,
but
Are you habitually using drugs, stimulants, alcohol?
No.
he's just so mean. And then, but all right, I know Nick has to go, but I just got to play this clip one more time.
Everything was fine with our system until the power grid was shut off by Dickless here.
Is this true?
Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
All right, so I'm giving it 8 in toxicity. Just awesome. Yeah. So, and Eric, I don't know charge you for shipping. Come on, give me your address. I'll send you one too. Yep. But
in the private
yeah,
chat, Mark.
Yep.
Put
Everyone
it
get
in
out of here so
private.
Nick can go. Be quick. Come quickly right now.
No, I want. I'm. All right, Gerry.
Did I
Look,
break
this is the
Nick?
perfect
Sorry,
film.
I had premature ejaculation there. My bad.
This movie is a perfect film. It's a 10 out of 10 on everything. It's got a perfect amount of everything in it, including the toxicity. I mean, Bill Murray's character is absolutely toxic. And I love that. And, he inspired me my whole life with my humor. Him and Chevy Chase. Back when Chevy Chase was funny and not a
Well,
dick.
he's basically playing Bugs Bunny as Peter Venkman, but yeah.
Yeah. That's true, Tom. That is.
It's true.
Which one's Elmer Fudd? Aykroyd?
No, that's the EPA guy.
Oh, EPA
Yes.
guy.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes.
Wascally Wabbit. So that's my score. It's 10 out of 10 on everything. It's a perfect film.
Okay.
Rarely do you find me do that. This is one of those
today
films.
we
It's just
found you.
perfect.
Mr. Zenon 94, toxicity 5 because Peter didn't. Yes, thank you. He didn't. He did not take advantage of Dana. He made the right move. Jonah Hex, I say 8 out of 10 toxic because I heard some young female viewers complain. No one, yeah, we know about that.
Well, just like with law enforcement, that would be a bad thing because majority of shootings are female officers.
You don't say. 70s.
it's a lot more toxic examining it like this than I recalled for various reasons. Some of them misogynistic, obviously Ernie Hudson, you could say his minority character's sidelined into some
Oh.
sense. There's no female Ghostbusters. You've got the professor doing various things with his young female. There's a lot of stuff in there, and as somebody said, it wasn't really meant to be for a family audience initially, anyway. So, but it's still not the most toxic thing ever. I'd give it a 6 out of 10 for toxicity.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
it.
Dustin.
I was initially going to give it a 2, but I think I got to go with 5. I guess I think 5 for toxicity. I was going to say 2 because I didn't think there was much in the way of the movie that I wouldn't have said. I would have called the dude dickless, and you know what I mean. I don't know, so I guess 5 for me.
Okay.
I'll keep it short and sweet for you.
Oh,
That's
red shirt. To talk about your toxicity or lack thereof.
Well, I agree that Bill Murray's character is unrelentingly toxic, especially to Dana throughout. The line, "This man has no dick. Are you menstruating?" And just are delivered with perfect timing and utterly inappropriate questions. I mean, outside of a medical office, and the movie, as somebody else pointed out, basically kind of lacks representation, which today is the kiss of death. So I'd give it a toxicity rating of 7. For a film that kids liked a lot more than the studio expected back in the day. Go figure.
Huh? On the market,
We did watch it with our 5-year-old granddaughter today. So I mean, there's
Because got boys being boys. That's why.
Oh,
Right.
you had the boys being the boys. That's right. They had a nice little pole they could slide up and down on. Wish we got to see Aykroyd in action with the most. And then everyone's like,
Does this pole still work? That's what she said.
Yeah.
You guys got to try this.
Okay, Tom, go ahead for your toxicity.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously, as I've seen this movie a billion times throughout the years, clearly a much more toxic film than it was at the time. But
Agreed.
that's only through today's lens, right?
Lenses.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
really,
Yep.
really, Venkman being the most toxic character is just a wascally wabbit. Let's be real.
No, you're right.
So I mean, on old standards, I'd
Just
give it a
a
5,
dude.
but yeah, but on a new standard scale, I'd have to give it a 7 on toxicity.
Okay. Yeah, I for me, I guess I'll say same thing. I'm with you and Dustin. I'm gonna give around 5 for the same obvious echoing reason. Peter Venkman is that way, but also, I mean, Winston does get some credit with the line about turning you white. I mean, that's just that's only a line only he can say, and it's honestly, it's probably the only guy I want him to say because it's not much funnier because he's the one saying it. So, yeah, it's a perfect line. So, yeah, nothing real. Other than that, really, it's just a just a fun 80s action movie of the boys being boys saving the day. It's just really just it's about a good time. It's about nothing more than a good time. So, yeah, that all said, hey, Mecha J, current day toxicity 7. Yeah, that is a Toxic Tuesday, Ghostbusters Untoxic Edition. We'll be back next week with Raw Deal. Arnold Schwarzenegger's Raw Deal next week. It's about time we do this movie. And then in April, we have the Burt Reynolds month. So that's going to be lots of mustaching going around these parts. Lots of seshing.
Nick, don't you think you should call it detoxing?
Detox.
So we can clear out their colons? Just saying. Little input.
Maybe I will change the name. Maybe. But anyway. No, for those who are in the chat, I'm not doing a comic show Friday night, and I'll post about it on the YouTube community, Gilded, Twitter, all that. As a reminder, no show Friday night. And for those who, as a holdover until next week's Raw Deal, I did do a review for Dean Cain, All-American Lawman. Go watch that video. And I will, of course, report next week on my little vacation that I take off on in a few hours. Because, yeah, This is my last thing I have on YouTube for the week, so I won't be on here till at least Sunday or Tuesday. Don't know. Maybe not until next Tuesday. But yeah, this is my last time on YouTube for the week. So
Oh no.
I know how the world survive and move without me. But seriously, I hope you guys enjoy your week here on the YouTube land. And hopefully, if you're new here, hope you like what you saw at Toxic Tuesday. I hope you come back next week for when we talk Raw Deal. So I can't wait to talk about Raw Deal next week. And I'm gonna let
That's a
these
great
dudes.
film.
No, I know. Yes, sadly, I will not be able to see Ghostbusters till probably Sunday or Monday. That's true. We try to look at the times, but the time of where it coincides with the show we're going to, it's just not realistic. So it is what it is. So, anyways, I'm gonna let these men plug their plugs on the way out. I see Eric Hay throwing down the wrench there. Thank you, Eric. We'll start off with whose plug? We'll start off with Red Shirt's plug. Plug your plug on the way out. Plug Gary's plug on the way out.
I need it, man. My butt's like literally loose.
Well, I've been on Gary's Saturday shows before. We'll see what he's doing this week.
You were great on there, by the way, Red Shirt.
Well,
You were great.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I might do that if he's actually talking about a movie I know anything about, and I'll be back here next Tuesday. And obviously, if you're in chats during the week, I'll probably be modding in there. So say hi, I'll say hi back.
All right.
Have a great week, everybody.
Thanks for being here, Red Shirt. Appreciate your time and your knowledge and your presence.
Thank you.
Tom, are you going to do a radio show tonight?
Maybe, but I'm probably going to finish watching Ghostbusters 2 and Afterlife again to get prepped. So we'll see.
Okay. Well,
I
sir.
did do one earlier, but you never know. Keep an eye out.
Okay.
Sounds like a plan. I'm excited for that.
Well, you guys know how to find a Minute's Edge. After any particular guest you have tomorrow morning for in the morning?
We have Dean Cain.
Oh,
Amazing.
Dean Cain.
Sweet.
Will Gabe be with him as well?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Nice. All right, dude. Well, guys, make sure you catch that show tomorrow because, yeah, I'm sure they'll be mentioning their comic as well. Dean Cain, All-American Lawman. All right. So, yeah, if you somehow watch this show, go sub to all his channels. Thanks for being here, Tom. Love having the inside. Love shooting the shit about a legendary movie with you as always. I will see you, sir, next week.
Absolutely.
And the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, Dustin.
You can catch us live Tuesdays, maybe Wednesdays, sometimes myself, Saturday, Sunday. And you can catch me dropping videos all the time. But the live we did tonight, we talked about why Chandra may not be on YouTube with me anymore. So it's kind of a shit story. So if you want to check that out, go watch that live. And maybe I'll catch you guys up next week.
All right. Go sub to Dustin the Cute Simple channel. You heard the man. Listen to him. Do all the things, okay? Thank you, Dustin.
And stay puffed.
Mark.
Yeah. Oh, what happened with your camera, man? You look so tiny.
Yeah, I look so tiny. Yeah, camera's all fucked up. All right, well, keep this quick because Nick is out of here. But
this is Dwarf Mark D.
Dwarf Mark F. Oh, the camera. Who wants to see me anyway? But Sunday Night Geekery. Check out my show 10 p.m. Eastern. We talking a lot of Ghostbusters this week. Probably I'm going to try to go see the movie early Thursday. Cut out of work because I got a bunch of meetings Thursday night. But Clobbering Times is always there. I'll call in sick. Yeah, they'll track me on the Jeep. I just better not post on social media that I'm there, right? Yeah, I'm sick, but
right.
I'm posting pictures from Ghostbusters the movie. Yeah, but yeah, and I'm also on Thursday night on Clobber Times, the Clubhouse with Raquel, and we're reviewing Blake 7 right now, a very obscure science fiction show. If you've heard of that, and we're going to be reviewing some movies and stuff going forward. But yeah, check that show out on Thursday night. And I'm always streaming with Clobber Times during the week. He lets me on his channel. So, and check out my channel if you want to see how I 3D printed some of this stuff. That was a fail there, but I'll put up video on how I did the Ghostbusters sign. You can do that pretty easily if you've got a 3D printer. So thanks, Nick, and thanks everyone. And wow, there were a lot of clips tonight. Crap, but it was a lot of fun. So and thanks, Eric K, for posting the link to my channel.
For this show, it was completely worth it, dude. Thanks for being here. Thanks for all the clips and strips that you did. It was awesome to have the entertainment value boost up for the show. And yes, as always, I will see you soon because I will. I live
And
up
have
to
a-
my word.
And have a great trip and eat lots of pizza.
Be safe.
Well,
Mark.
probably not as much. It'll be in Texas, but
That's
I
true.
will.
Yeah, we eat a lot of barbecue.
There'll be that. There's one place I'm planning going to for pizza. Yeah,
If
no,
you go to
it
a
really was
restaurant,
great
Nick,
show.
tell them you're a vegan. It'll be funny.
Thanks, Mark, for your services
Thank you.
as
Yep,
always.
yep.
All right, appreciate it.
A lot of fun.
As we all know, vegans only eat meat once a day in Texas. So, yeah, thanks, Nick. Great show. Thank you to everybody in the chat for being here. That was a lot of fun. Try and keep it as brief as I can. So over my channel, that 70s Rock Fan, we've now passed 1,400 subs.
Congrats.
Which, given my lack of self-promotion, is probably pretty good. Up to 1410,
Yeah.
in fact, today. We had a great show yesterday on the Canon Film Club edition. We did Breaking and Breaking 2. That one's doing quite well on the replays. A lot of views, picking up some views, so that's good. One other thing I'd like to plug is Saturday night, Brahma, Bull, and I do our hockey show, Bourbon and Boarding.
Go Rangers.
Where we refuse to talk about a certain New York team. The Islanders, fine. We don't talk about the other one. So that's possibly the only hockey-related show in the fellowship. I don't know. Could be. Anyway, Bourbon and Boarding, where we sip drinks, play funny clips of players beating the crap out of each other and old hockey commercials, and chat about that stuff. It's a show we have a lot of fun with, and it's late Saturday night. But hey, if you people want to drop by late Saturday night, it's quite a good. We have quite a good time. So, thank you, Nick. Have a safe trip, mate.
Absolutely, man. I'm sure I'll post some photos of it on the Gilded. So keep your eye out on if you're on the Gilded server, that's the place to be. Those will be exclusive. Mostly probably about 99% exclusive. Just the tips of them. Thank you, 70s. I will see you when we have a raw deal. And to a man who will be the back door to the raw deal.
I reminded Polly, you're the one who fucking started this backdoor shit, you motherfucker. You better go with the joke. So, man, first of all, vegans eat only grass-fed beef because you are what your food eats.
I came in through the back door.
In the ass?
Tom, I will be doing a show this weekend with Nerd Cookie. She's joining us. We're going to be doing Dune the miniseries, Sci-Fi Channel. That'll be fun. And Friday we're going to be talking about all the bullshit that's going on. I'm not gaming tomorrow on the channel because I have a doctor's appointment because I'm old. And I
Checking out your prostate.
Doctor. Yeah. Even though, it's like he fingers me every time, but finally this time he's really gonna check my.
Is he actually going to kiss you this time?
It only bothers me when I feel both his hands on my hips. Okay, I broke Nick again.
This show is fucked. And that's how we go out. Saying good night,
Amen.
folks. Thanks for supporting
Good night,
Toxic
folks.
Tuesday. Thanks for the super chats and get the memberships.
Good night,
Thank
everyone.
you for your time. We'll see you next week for Raw Deal. Just remember, you'll put that in Gary's butt.